Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Texture Pop Strike
Podcast.
Just say the Texture Pop. Don't even say podcast, man.
We're not a podcast.
Texture Popcast.
We're a talkcast.
No.
It's a new thing. Trademark. Texture Pop. We pop textures and other creative slogans.
Yep.
Anyway, I am Sam, and with me we have Brandon, Mr. Lee, Dr. Carey.
Episode
Senior.
4, which is one more than 3 and one less than 5.
Someone went to math school. And we have Mr. Windows 8 lover Garrett. It's his favorite OS.
I hate Windows 8. Yeah.
This podcast is being recorded on Windows 8. Windows 8, non-official sponsor of Texture Pop Podcast.
My computer crashes.
You're getting
2 to
paid for
3
this
times
shit?
a month.
Fuck you.
I'm getting paid hundreds of dollars every time I mention Windows 8. By the way, Windows 8, perfect OS. It's the best.
My computer crashes on Windows 8.
I don't
2 to
know
3
what it is
times
about
a
yours,
month.
because I have problems with Windows 7. I've never had issues with Windows 8 before.
Windows 7 never crashes.
I have
ever.
never once had an issue with Windows 7.
I always
Never.
did. And I don't
Same
have any
here.
problems with 8, so apparently
Yeah,
I just built a better
Windows
computer.
8 just. Yeah.
And of course, lest we forget, Chris, the old man. That's relevant, actually.
My plasma cutter is super OP.
How could you possibly forget Chris?
Never. And I did mention the old man, because that's
Uh,
relevant to our viewer questions this week.
Oh god.
That's always a good start. Don't
We're
worry about
starting
it.
off already that quick, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a story for you, but I will share that after questions, so.
Questions are important. For Mr. Brandon Adonis Perkins, and I like to call him Cool Brandon now, because now we got Cool Brandon and Lame Brandon.
Fuck you, Sam.
Y'all, can you tell which one's which?
Samuel Callahan.
Haha. Anyway,
How dare you?
he says, "Hey guys, hey Adonis,
Hey, guys.
Hey,
don't worry about the name thing. Whatever. It's more common than you think. Personally, I know 10 different people also named Brandon because they're taking over the world. Brandon's for life. Anyway,
Just, I have a better name than you, Sam, and you, Chris, and you, Garrett.
nah, Chris is a pretty cool name. Garrett's fucking OP name. If I met a guy named Garrett, I expect him to be like fucking tearing people's heads off. Garrett's a masculine name. Anyway, he said, recently John DeMero announced that after 14 years he's decided to develop yet another shooter, although he did have an idea for a shooter back in 2012 and never really came to anything. Obviously, the internet exploded with both delight and suspicion. Of course, Romero, being one of the co-founders of id, played a major part in the development of Doom, Quake, etc. But of course, the last shooter he was released was the much maligned Daikatana. So with that in mind, here's my question. Do you think Romero actually has it in him to develop a shooter that's actually good? And for that matter, what do you
John
guys think?
Romero will make you his bitch.
And for that matter, what would you guys like to see in a new Romero shooter? I think he's capable of making another good game. I think Daikatana
Yeah.
was a weird situational problems, as bad games tend to be. Like, a lot of
Yeah,
bad games are victims of circumstance. They're not just made poorly. Usually shit goes wrong on all kinds of levels.
yeah, I mean, because it's one thing when you have these big name producers, and a lot of people like to put everything of a game on one guy's shoulders, which, you know, is not a good thing. It takes far more people to make a game than that. It's just,
We have
Granted-
a problem in this industry where one person is credited with the talent of many, said Warren Spector, creator of Deus Ex.
Said Cliff Blazinski,
Yeah.
creator of Gears of War.
I mean,
Or Ken
you know,
Levine,
that is the
creator of
thing.
Bioshock.
It feels stupid to put like an entire game's success on one guy's shoulders, considering how many people it makes. But I mean, there is something to be said for somebody that can rope in expectations and can give an entire project a vision to rope developers in and say, no, we're not adding any more shit. We've got what we need to do. Let's just get this done. So I mean, that's why I think earlier Resident Evil games like 4 and down, those games kind of work. Say what you want about Tank Control, the last one, but when you add Shinji Mikami there, he was given that series like a vision, and after he fucking split, we got stuff like Resident Evil 6, and we will talk about how that fucking turned out. But
Game of the year, spoiler.
yeah, I mean, I think if John Romero did stuff the way he did back in the day with like Doom and everything, or whatever he wanted to do, it'd almost be a breath of fresh air compared to all the realistic stuff that we get. Now, granted, we do get kind of more action-oriented, one-man army style, balls to the wall shooters, whatever you want to classify them as, arcade-like, I don't know, with stuff
Roguelikes?
like,
They're totally roguelikes,
Like-
right?
well, no, but like New Order, like New Order.
Yeah.
Like that game totally harkens back to an earlier time of shooters.
Or the new
It's-
Wolfenstein?
That is the New Order.
Yeah, that's the New
Oh,
Order.
oh, I thought you said something else.
No.
The New Order.
But that is what I meant, though. And and that remake of Rise of the Triad, like
Yeah.
that was totally a thing, So I mean, yeah, and where the shooter market is, kind of dominated by the modern military shooter. It'll be interesting to see something other than that. I would hope to God that if he does make a new shooter, it'd be something like sci-fi, space-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Something really fucking weird.
I would like to think that after the debacle that was Daikatana, John Romero learned his lesson.
I don't know.
I think anyone could make a video game, but just after that, I think he probably shouldn't.
I
It's kind of
I-
sad.
and I do agree with Chris that it shouldn't just be like all his. Like people should realize that there's more than one person in creating a game.
Yeah,
That-
absolutely.
That being said, there is something to be said for good leadership, and I would hope that after what happened and experiencing both the highs and the lows of game design, that Romero would be better equipped than he was back then to make a good shooter.
Yeah, like it's interesting you mentioned like how we should have good leadership when it comes to projects like this, because we've seen what happens with bad leadership, which was Duke Nukem Forever. Hey George, how'd that turn out for
Is
you?
that bad leadership or no leadership?
Was he even
Kind
there?
of both. It's just
Because from what I remember, that project went through development hell in more ways than like 4.
a lot of what I read was basically like there was a really good article that basically was just called "What Went Wrong with Duke Nukem Forever." Like you can go Google it. I don't remember what website it was from, but it was basically just talking about how George Broussard was just never satisfied with the progress of Duke Nukem Forever, and he was constantly changing things because he saw it in another game.
Yeah,
Like-
it seemed like he didn't have any idea what he actually wanted to do with the game.
Yeah, and it's like the
really
developers.
they stole a lot of their ideas from other games. I couldn't tell. That was sarcasm.
Yeah.
Oh, you could cut that sarcasm with a fucking knife, dude. That was
I mean, yeah, that boob
Thank you.
slapping part, that's from Mass Effect. You didn't notice? Boob slap button?
oh man.
The fact you can only carry 2 guns, all of it, was bullshit.
Yeah, John Romero, I'm sure he could do something, especially if he has a development team that's willing to work with him. So,
I'm sure people would love to. I would think, as far as what kind of game he would make, I would not be surprised if he made something akin to the New Order, which is like, we're basically taking these old school game mechanics and kind of bringing them into modern day storytelling.
I
New
don't
Order's
know
kind of
if
weird,
I-
and then it has like a really heavy-handed, like cutscene heavy story, but the gameplay is still really arcade-like, and you still have all the guns and everything.
I have to wonder if he would make something like Bulletstorm, because I liked that game.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know if I want a game in space, because I don't know if I think space is getting close to being a retired setting.
But what if there were
Like,
Nazis in
like,
space?
No, not even like given even in light of not in light of what I've been playing this week. I think that space might be getting close to a retired setting.
Really? Because I think
It's kinda one of
space
those
I think
things.
space is still new compared to
If-
modern
if-
day.
It feels like I don't know. It feels like I've been seeing a lot of space fiction lately. Maybe that's just me.
I think a lot
Once
of
you
what
go
you're
to
seeing though is
space-
also like early access and indie. Like I don't think space has penetrated mainstream lately.
Yeah.
I suppose I see your point. Yeah. But I mean, I doubt this game is going to be a AAA game at all. So it's probably going to be in that
Well, though,
indie-ish space.
that would be actually really cool for Romero just to release like a smaller scale game. That would probably suit him better at this point.
We
Yeah.
see a lot of like old school big name designers going to the small space because that's kind of to a degree where they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where they came from, back when 2 guys could make a game. That's how fucking Romero and John Carmack started.
And that's why Ken Levine laid off so many people at his studios because he'd rather go back to like the 13 people that they were like a small group of like 10 or so people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's interesting the way that kind of evolved, actually.
so you would like to move on to the next question?
Sure.
Sure.
Because we're totally gonna keep this really short, right, guys?
Totally.
Yep.
Yes.
You can say that.
Yeah. All right. Next question. For those of you guys who are comic book fans, I guess Brendan is out. His words, not mine. Very true.
That is not true at all.
Brandon
Fuck
hates
you.
comic books. Oh, Brandon, I'm Brandon fighting. Do you guys prefer comic book art that's more stylized or more realistic? I personally prefer more stylized artwork like Joe Madureira. Maybe you know that, Chris? Madureira.
Say that name again?
That name sounds familiar.
Madureira. Madureira. And Mark Silverstreet. Rather than more realistic artwork. I have no idea. Those guys have hell of names. You know, better yet, because
Why don't you just like copy paste that so
them?
we can see how it's spelled?
Yeah, yeah, because
Joe
I could.
Moderate.
Yeah, have fun with that, bro.
Mark
Well, hang on. I can
Silvestri.
at least. Well, now that you've posted in there, I can at least find out what these guys worked on.
Mark
Developer,
Silvestri, that's easy to
Best known for
pronounce.
his work on Uncanny X-Men, and he created comic book Battle Chasers.
So, I will say that I do like things that are more stylistic as opposed to just trying to be real. But I will say, like, there's a limit on that, because you don't want to see stuff where things are stylized to the point of just looking completely fucking ridiculous. Like, especially, you know, comic book artists especially that go out of their way to make women look unrealistically sexy, that have these fucking rubber spines that allow them to show their ass and their chest
And the
forward.
most common superpower, super breasts.
Pretty much.
Super breasts.
But I mean, there's something to be said for stuff that has a unique look to it and actually stands out, as opposed to like making everything look as realistic as possible. I can't really think of. Well, no, there was a really good recent example was the recent Rocket Raccoon solo series that's out now.
Sure.
Yes.
Garrett, you can attest to
And
this.
it's awesome.
Yeah, because it basically looks like a fucking cartoon. Like it looks.
The
It
jokes
looks like
are fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good looking. Like, yeah, I kind of like that, to where the way characters are drawn and the fact that the style, like, it doesn't change from page to page. It's something you want to see, like, it looks consistent. Like, okay, this character is about this tall, that's how tall he is, like, later on, you know, like, if it has a stylized look to it, you don't want characters, like, changing shape and everything all the
Yeah.
fucking time, because that just looks ridiculous.
That kind of
But,
makes me think of the Spawn series that I really like.
Oh, man.
Hellspawn is what it was, one with Clown. Where Spawn was just
Yeah.
like this weird, like...
The Violator?
Well, yeah, it's the one where Spawn was basically just this long shadow, like corporeal form.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
that was like... That's the kind of stuff that I like, I guess. Like, I like it when it just goes... Because I'm not a huge fan of classic comic books. So I like it when it just goes straight into, like, crossing the edge of graphic novel. Of just, like, this looks fucking weird and insane. Like, Serious House on Serious Lane, I think is what it's called. The Batman Arkham
Yes.
series. Yeah,
A Serious House on Serious Earth.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, fantastic. Dave McKean is an artistic genius.
Alright, now,
Really quick though, one of my favorite jokes in issue 2 of Rocky Raccoon is when he's doing the movie quotes at the beginning when they're interrogating him, and the one he does from True Detective is at the bar scene where he's like, "Life is like a circle," and he's holding like the cracked beer can. And they're like, "I don't get it. What's he saying? And where the hell do these beers come from? I don't know." And then in the next panel they're gone. like they just pop up out of nowhere for him to do that quote, and then the next panel they're gone. They're like, "Where'd the beers
That's
come
awesome.
from?" I don't know. Don't look at me. It's great.
okay.
Yeah.
First off, I do want to say that I can see why people would think I don't like comics, even what I said last week. Although the truth is that, honestly, it's really hard for me to keep up with comics. Not so much that I don't like them. I do find them really fascinating.
You are not the only one that has that problem. That's
And the other issue is that there's not a whole lot of really good comic stores in this area. Delaware's the fucking boonies.
That is now the way I get around that is I buy my comics digitally.
I was going to start using Comixology one day, but
Oh yes.
That's
Part
what I
of me-
use.
part of me thinks that's a good idea. Part of me doesn't think that's a good idea.
Why is it not a good
Well,
idea?
I will tell you right now, if you're buying comics digitally, that is the best way to go.
Yep.
Because while Marvel and DC both have their own apps and storefronts, Those are shit, mostly because of the simple fact that Marvel and DC are the only things you can buy
How much
from.
is Comixology?
The app is free,
It's
dude.
free.
Oh.
Yeah, you just buy comics.
Yeah.
Which are pretty cheap. They're like $3 a pop. And they get more expensive or less depending on how popular it is. And they give away free comics every week as well.
And sometimes
I see.
stuff is on sale.
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
I
you get
buy
sales
mine
too.
physically.
You can get like Wonder Woman sale, and it's like all Wonder Woman comics 50% off, or like here's a free
That's cool.
issue of Detective Comics or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I buy physically.
But
How dare
yeah, back
you.
to the
There's nothing against buying.
I-
How dare
I-
you buy
I don't
comics
know.
physically?
but going back to the main topic at hand.
What topic?
I find that in general, realistic kinds of art styles don't tend to hold up in over the course of time, whereas the more stylized looks tend to last a bit longer. Maybe that's just me.
Well, it's just because it's your own thing versus, you know,
Yeah.
if you can always try to get better at mimicking realism. Whereas
Yeah.
stylized is
Yeah.
just stylized.
So I tend to prefer that comics stick to more stylized graphics, just so that or styles, just so they can maintain that kind of. It looks really good even years later.
Mhm, mhm,
But that's honestly all I really have to contribute to the subject.
mhm.
Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Garrett! Anyway, you have any
Uh.
points, Garrett, before we move on? Did you answer the question? I don't even remember. We got so sidetracked.
The question was whether you consider like comic books to be more
Yeah.
realistic or graphic or stylized in terms of their artist style.
It depends on what the story is. It depends on the story you're trying to tell. If
That's
it's-
also
yeah,
true.
that's very good.
definitely
Yeah,
very
it
true.
really depends on the story you're trying to tell. Like I said with Dave McKean, Dave McKean, he did a few standalones, and one of the standalones is one that I have. And if you have not read it, I highly recommend you find this. It's a graphic novel called Cages by Dark Horse Books. Dave McKean wrote it and illustrated it.
David Cage.
No,
David Cage?
you
You said David Cage.
Dave.
We're talking about David Cage now?
So it's a very
but,
emotional book, I imagine.
Oh,
Yeah, what's
so many
funny
emotions.
what's funny is it actually is. So. But the art style is basically sketches.
Okay.
It's a very the art isn't fully done. It's sketched with a blue pen. And
Mm.
when he shows the passage of time, there's a scene where they're having a conversation. Two characters are having a conversation in a restaurant. Actually, it's at a bar. And
It always
all
is.
of a sudden, while they're talking, suddenly their words don't become words or scribbles, and the art, like the sketches, are like getting elongated, and it becomes very minimalist and very abstract, and then it slowly begins. There's a spread of just like movement on the page, like he just kind of took his pen and put it all over the page, and then you flip the page again, and it begins to reform, and he's like, holy shit, we've been here for hours. Like, it shows the passage of time. So it's
Yeah,
stylized,
interesting.
but it's serious. And the characters are done very realistically. They're just sketched.
Kind of reminds me of the Crow
some-
comics, at least some of them. Like the early
Yeah,
ones.
the Crow, From Hell, Watchmen,
Yeah.
The Last Man. A lot of books have actually... Nightcrawler, a lot of these books have actually had... or the X-Men have had a very realistic style.
Yeah,
but their
Watchmen
stylizedness...
especially.
Yeah.
especially Watchmen. This helped tell the story. If because it was very serious. If Watchmen was oh my god, spoilers, oh my god, we killed thousands of people, like millions of people. Yeah, but it was to unite to save billions. Like, it's so philosophical, it's so deep. If that was with like a really weird, goofy style, it would really hinder.
Well, style doesn't
point of the
necessarily
book.
mean goofy, though.
Well, but like the realistic art style that it did, I think, really
yeah.
amplified
Yeah,
what it was saying.
Yeah, because despite the fact that in Watchmen you have a character who is basically God and he's just blue,
Yeah,
but
Superman.
despite that, everything else is essentially it is essentially really, really down to earth, because the whole point of it
Yeah.
was like, what if superheroes were real? What if people actually like fucking dressed up and everything? And how shitty it ended up being. Like,
It was very realistic. Everything was explained. It's like the government steps in and passes a law saying no more superheroes. So Rorschach's a vigilante. The other ones are actually quitting and trying to go on with their lives. It was very realistic.
or someone
And-
work for the government. Like,
Yeah, it
So
was
The
basically saying,
Incredibles?
Yeah, basically.
This is it was actually The Incredibles.
Kind of was.
I'm not even kidding. I watched a behind the scenes, and The Incredibles was loosely based on Watchmen. That's why one of the characters in Watchmen, it's a backstory for him, was his cape got caught in one of the revolving doors when he was trying to stop up and
that was a thing.
I love that.
Oh my
bit.
god, I never realized that. Holy shit!
And in the Incredibles, it shows all the superheroes with capes getting killed.
Fucking dollar
like,
bill.
no capes.
Yep.
No capes.
That
yeah,
is
exactly.
actually a really striking commentary on superheroes, how useless the cape is, but yet
Yeah,
everyone
because
seems to have one.
Yeah, because in
It was the
fucking
most
Watchmen,
hilarious
there was
joke.
a guy called, in Watchmen, there was a guy called Dollar Bill, and he got murdered
stopping a
because
bank
his
robbery.
cape got caught in a revolving door. Like, oh my god, I didn't realize that.
Stuck
That's
in a
right.
wind turbine.
Yeah, in a wind turbine. No capes.
Oh man.
I should
So
go
okay.
rewatch
yes.
The Incredibles.
So they said, what if we made this kid friendly? They took a lot of elements from Watchmen and made a kids film. That's
And-
probably why Incredibles is the best
100%
Pixar film.
less blue dicks.
Although The Incredibles is weird because when you think about it, the villain wasn't exactly wrong. I mean, he was wrong in the way he did his plan, but like theoretically, the plan wasn't that bad.
It's our podcast. It's 3
in
hours
Give
long.
Watchmen or
everyone
Incredibles?
superpowered gadgets.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're moving on.
Sure.
We got things to do.
Yeah. Oh, really quick. So something like Rocket Raccoon, it's trying to tell a very goofy story, and so it has kind of a wacky art style to kind of go along with it. Any sort of whatever the tone is, I think the art style should kind of follow suit,
Yeah.
or else they'll clash and it won't really it'll mix to a degree that doesn't really work. Like my last one, the Arkham Asylum, a Serious Us on Serious Earth. Sam brought that up.
I did. It's good.
Yeah, it's very serious, but it's also very trippy because there's like the it deals with madness. So of course Dave McKean really went crazy with that, and everything flows. Everything's everything looks like a hallucination. So it's like you're going mad. Basically, whatever the tone is trying to set up, the art style should kind of follow suit. Anyway, and that's Anyway, I'm done. Sorry about that.
Anyway, last
My thoughts.
question. And this is a question for Chris, actually. Our first specific question. Does Chris ever get tired of being the only old man in the group? Thank you, Brandon, for your question. It's funny because when I first read that to myself, I thought it said, "Does Chris ever get tired of being called the only old man?" No, it just says, "Does he ever get tired of being the only old man?"
Yeah, so I think if I am for any reason, it's because you other fuckers constantly bring it up. Now,
To be fair, Brandon
I have-
enables me.
I have a little bit of
that was the best question you've ever asked.
I've got a little bit of a story to
To get you a
this.
medal.
Oh my god!
No, you have to hear this. Okay,
This is
so
awesome!
It's the best
Alright.
day of Brandon's life right now.
this is like for the record, anybody new listening to this, I'm 32, okay?
Yeah, it's not like he's
Whereas
like
all these other
50.
motherfuckers are like early
20.
to mid 20s.
This is
So
See, what's so funny is that if people didn't know that, they would probably assume you were like fucking like 50 by the
Yeah,
point we
yeah,
address
fucking-
you.
fuck off. Just
You're only 10 years
Alright.
older than us.
But no, you have to listen to this. This is another. I had one of those moments where like realize I'm getting older, and I was at work, and this one guy who started, he was telling me about how he just bought a watch. He's like, now I don't have to worry about not seeing the clocks in the building, and I got to watch
You
and
have a
find what time it
phone?
is. Being out on a factory floor, I can kind of understand you don't want to have your
Point
phone
taken.
with you. So, but he's telling me, so we got a watch. I looked at him and I was thinking for a minute, and I was like, I probably haven't worn a watch in 12 years. And after I said that, I was like, did I just fucking say that? I haven't worn a watch in 12 years? Oh my god, how old am I? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, did I really say that? Because when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, fucking 22? Oh, holy shit, I have not worn... Yeah, because I haven't worn a watch since I started carrying a phone regularly.
actually true story. My dad gave me a watch about 7 years ago. I wore it once and then never wore it again.
Yeah, but that's
Wow.
less than 10. That's the point here. The fact that I said... Like, I couldn't believe that sentence came out of my mouth. That...
It was a real
Holy
magical
shit.
moment.
Yeah. So I will say that, you know, I'm not that tired of it simply because I do feel my age gives me
But you ain't
experience
no
that these
spring
motherfuckers
chicken.
don't have.
It's true. We're very inexperienced.
Yes, you
in
are.
everything.
So,
We will
Daddy
refer to you
has-
as wizened.
Daddy has to rope you motherfucker or school you motherfuckers.
Oh, this
So-
is getting really odd now that we're talking about Daddy. Inexperienced, and Daddy's gonna help us out.
Yep.
I saw this in hentai once.
Oh man.
And that joke never gets
Hope
old
that
for me.
answers your
I'm
question.
just so happy that I'm not the one that said that.
Finally, someone else
Oh.
brings it up besides you.
Yes. That makes it awesome.
Thanks so much for your
Hope
question,
that answers your
Adonis.
question. Yeah, thanks.
So glad.
I'm glad you asked.
But
Yep.
it's just so he realizes I'm not mad about that question. I actually find it kind of humorous myself.
No, he's just mad at me.
Pretty much Brandon's the one he hates because Brandon's the one who never gets over it.
You had no idea how much I smiled when I heard him say that question.
So yeah.
So whose
All right.
turn is it?
Well, before we get to that, I do kind of want to bring up a little bit of the elephant in the room.
Chris's turn.
Well, something that I want all of us to kind of comment on was, you know, the unfortunate passing of Robin Williams, which happened, you know, a week ago, about Monday. So, yeah, and I was reading a movie Bob had wrote, and you know, it's kind of the celebrity deaths, like where sometimes I just don't care because it's like, you know, fucking celebrity. But to me, and I'm sure other people felt this way, was that Robin Williams, like, he wasn't just some fucking actor. He really was like just a genuinely awesome guy
Yeah.
that would like try to help people, and like
And
it's
he was
really
a fantastic person.
he really was.
He
Like,
was
he was-
like when my mom found out about it, she just gasped, and it bothered her for 3 days. She just couldn't get over the fact that he was gone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of it is just the way he went out too, because
Yeah.
he's seen as one of the happiest people in Hollywood, but the way
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't want to just outright say it.
The happiest people are the ones fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that, you know, the unfortunate event of losing your battle with depression. Considering the fact that this was a guy who went out of his way to try to make other people smile and
Yeah.
feel good, and you know, not just by just being a comedian, but like, you know, dude performed for troops. He visited children in hospitals, and he, you know, helped all
Like,
kinds of charities.
Every report I know about Robin Williams says he's nothing but a stand-up guy.
No, he really was like a really, really awesome person. Like,
Also a huge gamer, which is
Yeah.
probably more commonly known than it used to be, but
I mean, you know, the fact that he named his daughter Zelda.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else
I-
remember the 3DS commercial he was in?
I
it's
do,
like
and
the
they-
most popular
they
YouTube
both
video
look-
right now.
I know he
both
played
looked
WoW
so happy.
a lot.
Yeah.
They
'Cause
they were both so happy, just laughing. It's like, oh, I remember this. You have to go this way. She's like, oh, really? And they're playing it on the 3DS. Yeah.
And like, you know, he kind of does that whole narration and everything, and she's like, "Okay, Dad." He's like, "Oh, I don't know. You're both really magical." Like, man,
Yep.
and you know, World of Warcraft.
It's
they're
going to
doing
be
something-
sad to see him gone.
Yeah, it really is.
Still hard to believe in a way.
Yeah.
My little sister's 11 years old, and as soon as we heard, it's like Robin Williams, has been found dead, and we all gasped. And Molly immediately goes, "Who's Robin Williams?"
Yeah.
I was like, and at
Well,
first I was.
When my
at
mom
first-
came down to tell me it happened, I thought I misheard her. I thought she was some other celebrity I didn't know. I thought
I
he couldn't
thought the
possibly be
newsman
Robin
did it.
Williams. No way.
I thought the newsman did the same thing. I thought, no, there's no way. And then I thought maybe it was a different
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
But then
Like,
when
I
I
just-
heard
I
all the
couldn't
reports
fathom.
going on like this, oh wow, holy shit!
I couldn't fathom it. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
when my little sister said, "Who's Robin Williams?" My first thought was, "What?" And then after that, I thought, "Okay, fine." But then I thought, she's never going to experience like a new Robin Williams movie. She'll only be able to watch his old stuff. The first time
Yeah.
she's really known who Robin Williams is, she's heard of his passing.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then I got really sad.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, some of my favorite movies, which, you know, obviously I'm not going to be able to look at the same way again, but I will still continue to watch them because I always have, was the first one. I don't give a shit what people think of this. I still love this movie, which was Hook.
Yeah.
And
I think Hook's okay.
I genuinely
well
like that
loved in
movie.
certain circles.
Yeah, I mean, I know
It's
why
a
people.
polarizing movie.
Yeah, I know why people don't like it, but I don't care. I really loved it, and Robin Williams was a good part of why I loved it. And when and Movie Bob even said, "Who the hell else could play adult Peter Pan? Who?"
Who, I
And
ask you?
Well, a lot
granted-
of Rob Williams' roles in general were just kind of characters that were very childlike, even though he was an adult. Like,
yeah,
and a lot of where he succeeds in all of his movies is by being a child. In
Yeah.
a sense.
but
I don't mean that
he does-
insultingly. I mean,
No, but I mean he just does really really well with like the stuff that he does, and the other movie, and granted, not to take away from Dustin Hoffman because he's incredible in Hook as well, but yeah, I really love that movie. And then the other movie was Bicentennial Man. Again, I don't give a
I
shit
like
what
that.
people think about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that movie. I love it.
I like that film, and a lot of people say that they hate it, and a lot of people say they're trying to make a Philip K. Dick book into a comedy. I love Philip K. Dick. I love his serious work, and I think his work has obviously tons of influence into the entirety of the sci-fi genre. I like Bicentennial Man, and if
Yeah.
someone hates it, I get it. Like, oh, they're trying to make like Philip K. Dick funny. Yeah, I get it. You can't do that, but it's good.
It's a
it's a
really
good
heartwarming
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
Transformation of this robot who wants to be a man. It's
for love.
yeah,
'cause
exactly.
the two movies that I think of most of Robin Williams are obviously Aladdin
Yep.
as the genie, and Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Oh,
I
God.
love
Those are the
Jumanji.
two that come up to my head more often than any other.
So
I'm
what's
surprised.
funny is I've never seen Jumanji before.
Oh, it's good.
You totally
I
have
saw
to.
it
Yeah.
once in school, like when on one of those days off that teachers didn't want to teach a class, they just want to watch a movie instead.
What year is it?
You ever see Zathura, Sam?
Nope. I've seen a lot of Robin Williams
Um,
films, but I've also never seen Bicentennial, oddly enough. Like, I've seen really odd selection of Robin films.
I've seen. I own. Let me see. I have 1 Hour Photo, Insomnia.
Oh God.
1 Hour Photo is fantastic.
Yeah,
Creepy as
that's
hell.
that's
That just
Oof.
Yeah.
Insomnia. Yeah, 1 Hour Photo is great though. But what Insomnia, and then I have What Dreams May Come. I'm surprised that one doesn't. That one gets overlooked. I like that film too.
yeah.
And then of course his comedies. I liked Flubber as a kid. I don't like it as an adult, but whatever.
I
I like
Fun little
that.
film.
That film.
I
Was
still
just,
have
it was
that-
Fun.
I've never actually seen Flubber.
we have an odd, weird
Flubber.
set. Flubber's pretty. It's kind of fun.
I
in
saw a
really
Nostalgia
quirky way.
Trick episode on it though, so
It's
I,
fun. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not a particularly good
I-
movie, but it's fun. It's worth one
I-
watch.
Yeah, I also have that stand-up DVD that he did not long ago. I think it was called Weapons of
Mass Destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
And he has the caution tape over his mouth.
Yeah,
What's so
he was.
funny is his stand-up is so vulgar, and I've only seen it in kids' films
Yep.
before I saw that. I was like, man, he's just a vulgar dude.
Oh man, I still
He's-
remember.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I still remember seeing that stand-up from like the fucking 70s when he had like the rainbow suspenders on and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember seeing that one. Like he was trying to like his version of Shakespeare and all kinds of crazy shit. He's just saying all kinds of crazy shit, like the moon in the sky, or oh god, I fucked that up terribly. I fucked that up. What he was trying to say
Start over.
was the moon in the sky hangs low like a testicle. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oh
God, I remember. He played some serious roles. I'm just thinking 1 Hour Photo, and then.
he played a lot of serious roles, which was
Yeah.
interesting.
All of a sudden, I'm like, oh god, Goodwill Hunting.
Mm-hmm. He
Yep.
won was it an Oscar or a Grammy for that or whatever?
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, for best
Dead
supporting
Poets,
actor.
yeah,
Dead Poets Society.
Society is the big
Great
one.
film.
Dead
that-
Poets.
That's a great one. I watched that in like 8th grade. Great film.
Yeah.
I remember just him in documentaries, or not documentaries, but like him in interviews. Like there would be specials. It's like, and we're talking to Rob Williams, and it'd be a 2-hour-long special of just him talking to this guy, and making the interviewer laugh. Like, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like on he was on like a morning show, and
I
then you
remember-
had he was talking about God, I can't remember what it was. Aladdin. He was talking about Aladdin as the genie, and most of his lines were improv, and he would just run his mouth.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, in the booth. Yeah, almost all of it was improv, and he would just go talk, and he said and I quote, he would get blue in the face, and then over the headset, one of the Disney execs would pipe in, "This is Disney. The mouse doesn't have testicles. Mickey Mouse doesn't have genitalia." He's like, okay.
Wow. I remember one of my other favorite things was back when Conan O'Brien was unfortunately forced to leave the Tonight Show because NBC were fucking dumbasses.
I'm with Coco.
Yeah, yep. Like he was only like because he hosted the Tonight Show for like a fucking month, and then NBC fucking had their head up their asses. And during like his last show, Robin Williams was on there. And Robin Williams just said whatever the fuck he wanted. Like, he went up there, because he loved Conan. Everybody loved Conan. Yeah. And Robin Williams goes on there, and he basically just starts talking shit about NBC. Like, he just went up there, and he's like, let's pretend NBC is in the background here. Like, he's facing, like, the cityscape background. And he's like, you idiots, you fucked it up! Like, just...
Yep.
Wow.
Awesome.
Like, yeah,
it was
great.
Great guy. Just fucking all around. I loved his stuff as a kid. Like, it was one of those...
Yeah.
He was one of those actors as a kid that, like, I didn't even know actors that well, and if I saw him on there, I was like, I'm gonna watch this, because Robin Williams is in it. He's gonna be funny,
same.
he's gonna be serious.
The exact same. I didn't know a whole lot of actors, but I knew fucking Robin Williams.
It was like him and Jim Carrey, basically.
Oh, God, Jim Carrey.
Guys.
The mask. Why did I say Groovy? It's Bruce Campbell from
Yeah.
And I would say to you, the viewers out there,
just
go watch yourself a Robin Williams stand-up or a film of his when you get the chance.
Yeah, we watched, the very first film we watched was Bicentennial Man, and I was happy.
Yeah.
And then we watched Patch Adams, and I was not happy.
Unlike Patch Adams, apparently.
I will say, if Patch Adams is a bad movie, it's not because of Williams' performance. It is because of
how Hollywood fucked with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I know the whole story about like how like half of it's not true and the way he acted and all that.
Yep.
Nothing to do with Robin himself.
No, it was nothing to do with Robin. It's because of that, and I pointed that out, and my family just goes, I mean, yeah, that's Hollywood. I'm like, no.
Anyway.
That's Hollywood done fucked up. And then we watched What Dreams May Come, and that was good. And then Molly went to sleep early, and so we watched Good Will Hunting. And first off, that was a good idea to let the 11-year-old not watch that movie.
It's funny, every time I think of that film, I always think of the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends episode by the same name.
Yeah, same.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yep. God, I miss that show too.
And then, yeah, and that's what we've watched so far. I want to watch something else. I was looking at movies. I'm like, okay, I have 1 Hour Photo. I have Insomnia. I'm like, wow, I have Good Will Hunting. I'm like, I have all these serious movies. Where are my comedies?
It's Robin Williams, man. Come on, stuff comedy.
Yeah, I'm like, where are my Robin Williams comedies? Oh, yeah, Jumanji. Mom doesn't like Jumanji for some reason. I love that film.
That movie gets a bad rap, but I don't know where it comes from.
I thought people loved it.
Internet.
Yeah, it's a pretty beloved movie. But I know there are some people that kind of shit on it, and I don't know why.
I know a lot of people that just really hate that movie. I don't get it, personally.
And Zathura is a good movie too. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
What is?
Zathura.
Never heard of it.
It's the other board game movie where the board game came to life.
The other board game
movie?
movie?
That no one,
it is good. It is good,
one that fewer people care about.
Oh god, Jumanji in space.
Oh, I do remember that! I remember that now!
That's a good movie!
I remember people kept calling it Zenthura in my area, and I'm like, why do you keep calling it that? That is not how you pronounce that word.
Well, you know the problem, dude. Brandon is from Delaware. People know how to pronounce shit there. It's complicated.
Yeah, Robin Williams. I think I speak for everybody. We're all gonna fucking miss him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the more pleasant topics.
Yeah. I completely try to remember who hasn't gone first in a while. I don't know. Chris, how you doing?
I'm fine.
You act as if turn order matters.
Turn order is important to the stats. To whoever gets first turn gets an inherent advantage. I played card games.
Roll for initiative.
Roll for diplomacy.
I've only played a few things, but of those few things, I spent a good amount of time with them. The first thing I want to mention, though, I know Sam and I recently.
Oh, I wish we hadn't.
We decided to go back to our save on Resident Evil 6 that we started.
Oh, thank God it was still there too. Has Steam Cloud support.
And then immediately began to regret it because.
And I'll say this up front is that I mentioned this when we finished, but I told Chris when we were done, I was like, I really honestly went into this and I couldn't remember why we stopped playing. It took about 10 minutes to remember why we stopped.
Yup.
It's just not good.
Because we got far enough into a stage, in the fucking sewers no less, and then one of us died.
We started off in the sewers. Always a
and
good
the
start.
checkpoint was so fucking back, and having to redo all of that progress again just felt so fucking tedious, like we did not have the energy.
It's like 15 minutes back. And that was how we started.
It felt longer than that.
Yeah, that's how we started too.
Yep.
Oh god,
We did that same bit.
And then we got deeper underground, so we had to go deeper.
Yep, kept going deeper and deeper underground, and then it somehow managed to end up outside.
Yeah, so this was when we went underground, and we had to face off dynamite zombies that exploded when you shot them, which is always a great thing in close quarters.
They had suicide bomber zombies.
Yeah, we had suicide zombies.
Badass.
And then we had to fight off a shark, or Chris did, while I tried to figure out where to go, because he was in the water, and I was safe. There was no zombies where I was at. To find a shark.
We both had to QTE it to death. Like,
yeah, we had to take turns doing QTEs, which is always great. But the weird part, like, from a geometry perspective, is just that we went underground, and then we went down a waterfall while killing a shark, and somehow we wound out above ground. Like, outside. And we're trying to figure out how that happened. We're still trying to figure that one out.
Like, I can only remember them falling down, sliding down, going down. I can't remember them going. I think the only time they went up was on the elevator.
I don't even remember the elevator.
Because it all fucking blends together, that's why.
Yeah, and then there was Evil Guy. Don't forget Evil Guy. Simmons.
Yeah, yeah.
Just his face is like, look at how evil I am.
Like, he could not convince anybody that he has good intentions about anything other than world domination or greed.
Like, you guys remember Sadler from RE4 and how he's fucking that really sarcastic voice? He's like, hello there, Leon. How could you possibly... Like, Simmons is like that, but a bad actor doing that character as a scientist.
That was something that I had brought up, was the fact that, like, Sadler in RE4... every single line of dialogue he has sounds super fucking sarcastic. Yeah. He's just totally not bothered with anything. Like, the fact that Leon takes out a battalion, if not multiple battalions of dudes, all of his high-ranking guys.
Oh, Chris got cut off.
Oh no.
I thought Mike the internet cut him off. His internet got
That was really bad timing.
He's probably still ranting right now. Is the problem?
Oh, okay, sorry. No,
he's back.
It just now hit me, but
battalion of dudes.
But yeah, like, Leon takes out so many dudes. He takes out all these important people that seemed like, you know, according to the documents you pick up, but who fucking reads those? They all seemed like they were integral to his plan. Leon just takes them out. He's like, "Oh, I see you killed them too. Oh well. I hope you enjoy your stay." Like, he's just constantly mocking sarcastically the whole time, every time he talks, the whole game. Like, never once does he feel like, okay, you know what, you're pissing me off, you gotta go. Like, he never gets like that. He's never fucking concerned about anything.
He's a bad rendition of the Joker.
I don't
kind
know.
of.
It's just, and then Simmons is so much worse. I'm trying to remember what else. Like, I just remember being bored. Like, we were just sitting there, and I was like, Chris, like, my eyes are just glazing over as we're just killing zombie after zombie. Like, it's like I'm playing Diablo. Like, I'm just like, just shoot him in the head and then walk down.
It got super tedious.
I forgot we even talked about the boss fight with the fucking sister.
Oh, yeah.
After I had to pick her up, and I only had the ability to kick, which was hilarious because Chris had to do everything. And then we got to the boss fight, so of course, her skin melts off, and she turns into a zombie cocoon thing, and emerges from that, and then she does that, and she's all like, look at my breasts, and then I'm gonna bend backwards in a 90-degree angle, it looks like it should break my spine in half.
Despite the fact, like, her skin texture is just, like, green, all super
brown,
gray, slimy, veiny look to it, it's
It's like
Yeah.
it's for those of you who played RE5. It's like why did I forget her name all of a sudden? Jill, like kind of like the Jill fight, but if they tried to super sex her up rather than make it an emotional scene, which is funny because it's supposed to be an emotional scene because it's the main character's sister, and they're just like sexing her up, and I'm like, I'm not into this. This is just kind of gross.
Yep.
It's just creeping me out.
Basically.
Just not a good game. And then we quit when we got onto a plane, and yep, I don't know. There was a plane. We shot some zombies on a plane. That's about it.
We totally did that.
I just don't play that game because we're gonna
Nope.
keep playing that game. That's the worst part.
Yeah, and like the other thing about Resident Evil 6, like we go from outside in a cemetery to down in a sewer and then some fucking underground city of some kind and all this other bullshit, and all of it looked exactly the same because it is just all gray brown and it got so fucking ugly to look at. Like it was just hard to distinguish any of it. It was, oh man, it was so bad looking. It was so bad.
It's pretty bad.
Like, I got so tired of looking at it.
I have no words. If only you guys could have been there.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
was
beautiful and how bad it is.
It's so bad.
Oh,
I will be
God.
right back.
And we're gonna try to finish it for some god awful reason.
Not only do you
I'll be
have
right
to
back.
finish that, there's 4 campaigns. Mind you.
Well,
We're on 1.
wait, only 3 of them are in co-op, right?
I don't know if 8 is co-op or not. That'd
I
be a
don't think it
question.
is.
Okay, you're safe from that one because you know I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
I'm crazy.
And speaking of shitty horror-themed co-op games,
So the other thing that I was playing was Dead Space 3, which I recently finished.
yes,
Oh, you both finished it.
as I finished it as well, so we can
Did
both.
you finish it
Yes.
separately, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I
Yeah.
had a friend, another friend I was playing it with. Charky played it by himself.
hmm
So alone.
I'm still gonna play Dead Space 3 with Sam. Because
Yeah.
So, unlike Resident Evil 6, though, Dead Space 3 was actually something where I felt like I wanted to keep going forward. Like, not just, like, I wanted to beat it not just so I could talk about it on this podcast. I wanted to beat it because I was genuinely kind of enjoying it. And granted, I was looking past some of the flaws and stuff that was wrong, that, might have been wrong with it. But
Because
other than that, like, I had a decent time with it.
my partner and I, we only finished it because we had both agreed that we were going to finish it at the start of the playthrough. Otherwise, we would have probably dropped out like around chapter maybe 13 or 14.
Out of
Because
how
that
many?
was the turning point where the game was starting to get really old, really fast.
Yeah, I will admit, if one of the gripes I have with Dead Space 3 is that it does overstay its welcome.
The biggest problem I have is that there's like no variety at all throughout that entire game.
There's a little bit,
Remember
but
that
like
part
the
where you-
later half
No
of
matter
it, we do.
what enemy you're fighting, the solution is just use the shotgun
But
and stun lock them.
you say there's not variety, but what about that part where you rappel down the side of something?
Kill yourself.
That's my favorite
Because
part.
those are the worst parts of the game.
So it's got variety, it's just shitty variety.
I'm back.
Oh, you,
Oh, welcome back, Garrett.
you didn't miss much.
Yes, those repel segments are completely needless and stupid, and I hate them.
So, now, just to kind of contrast this, I will say that, this game falters in comparison to the first two,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
Whereas, Brandon, you've already said you haven't played the first two, and that's fine. The first two had better pacing than this one did, obviously. You really did get more kind of down moments of shit doesn't happen. And the second one especially was really good at making you second guess when something was or was not going to happen the first time you played it.
There's a thing with Dead Space 3 in that all the encounters can be seen coming a mile away. And the worst thing is that like they don't like spawn. They're always coming from a vent or something. They're never like
Yep.
just in the world. So even if you don't know even if you don't see them, you know they're coming because of the design of the levels. But it's kind of boring. It's like
That's Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been a constant with the series, but at least when... Something I noticed that was different from this as opposed to the other two was the fact that in the first two games, you would see straight-up bodies just get up and come after you, whereas this one, you don't really see that too often.
And my partner and I saw several instances where the enemy just literally has like popped into existence.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't even like a transition from the vent. They just literally popped into existence.
Oh, God.
For, like, just randomly. Some popped up right behind me, which happened...
Yep.
And honestly, those aren't scary. Like, when they pop up behind me, I'm not scared. I'm like, you fucking dicks.
Like, that goes all the way back to fucking Doom 3. Like, they would always do that. They're always behind you.
And then they start checking behind me and lobbing a rocket that way, because I eventually settled on a rocket launcher shotgun combo.
That was what I used. Now, did you use it? Did you discover that, or did you use it because I told you?
I forgot that you had told me, but then my partner reminded me that you told me about it later on. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, honestly, the shotgun was my mainstay, because the thing with the shotgun is that it stun locks enemies, so you're pretty much like never in immediate danger if you have it equipped.
Funny thing about the whole shotgun rocket launcher combo, like, I used that for a majority of the time, and in any situation where I didn't feel like this thing was good enough, plasma cutter. That was it.
Oh, I had the buzzsaw gun.
Oh,
my
the
other
Ripper.
one with a not a pistol kind of thing on top of it.
Right. Yeah, the thing about the rocket launcher, which I thought was so funny, was you get this accessory to put on it called the safety shield or something like that. It basically it makes you immune to blast damage. So now I could shoot the rocket launcher at like point blank range and not have to worry about it. It was ridiculous. Like, the game felt fucking broken after that.
Yeah, because I mean, like it's also worse because even though this is a horror game, you can shoot like 50 rockets and still like never run out of ammo.
Yeah, like, you never felt like ammo was a problem. Now, granted,
I never once throughout that entire game even came remotely close to running out of ammo.
Do you remember what
difficulty
you played on?
I sold ammo a lot.
Do you remember what difficulty you played on?
Normal.
Yeah, that was the same thing for me. So, which is usually the go-to. Like, yeah, and I remember people saying, like, if you've played the two previous Dead Space game and you come to this wanting a challenge, play on something harder than normal, because...
Yeah, those other Dead Space games, though, they were noticeably hard.
And I never ran out of health kit, and I really ran out of health kits either. Like, I usually had like 6 in my inventory at a given time.
Because one of the big changes with Dead Space 3 was the fact that ammo was ammo, and you used it for whatever gun you made. And they kind of had to do that considering you had the whole customizable gun thing. Whereas in the previous two games, a gun was a gun. A plasma cutter was a plasma cutter. There was no customizing it.
Yeah.
So the ammunition types were separate. Here's plasma cutter ammo. Here is flamethrower ammo. Here is pulse rifle ammo, stuff like that.
That leads to my biggest gripe is that I wonder how this game would have turned out without microtransactions. And the reason I say that is that the whole weapon crafting, all that was added because EA wanted microtransactions. That's a documented fact. You can look it up.
Yeah.
You don't have the microtransactions, you don't have the weapon crafting, which means you don't need to have that universal ammo. And that could have dramatically changed the pacing of the game.
Yeah, but the funny thing to me was, like, by the time I got to about around the halfway point of that game, microtransactions really felt negligible because I had more materials to make anything I wanted. Pretty
much, and I had a fully rated rig by the end of the game, and I only upgraded my weapon a handful of times.
Like 3/4 of the way through that game, I had my rig fully upgraded.
Yeah,
and
like in the beginning, I in chapter 3, I had this really awesome plasma color shotgun, and like by chapter 9, I upgraded to the rocket launcher shotgun, and then I was like set forever.
Yeah, I mean, because they would sell like a lot of stupid shit on the storefront that they have there, where it's like, here's a big bunch of materials and bullshit. Here's a thing to accelerate your scavenger bots, but really, like,
you also, if you scavenge well, you get ration seals.
Yeah.
which you can spend on the DLC instead of real world money. So like, there's literally no reason to sink any money into this game.
Yeah, yeah. So the microtransactions really became kind of negligible. Like I didn't feel like it hindered
They
it too
became
much.
negligible in the sense you had no reason to purchase them, but they really did hamper the game in its design.
Yeah, that I will agree with. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was one of the the biggest reasons why the game felt super flawed, but it kind of made it feel super easy. And the fact that I used 2 guns from the start of the game to the very end, like I felt like it was missing that kind of weapon variety that you had in the first 2.
Yeah, even though there's technically tons of weapons you can use, in actuality, you'll find like 1 or 2 and then never change them.
I mean, that's kind of like the nature with people who play video games, is like you have an arsenal of stuff available to you, but human nature with people who play video games is basically, what's the combination that makes this broken and overpowered?
And you're not
that's
gonna
the only thing I use.
Yeah, you're gonna use a combination, and you're not gonna keep using it until it's not good anymore. Then you're gonna use something different. That's the only reason. And there was no reason to ever. I never felt like, oh, I had to change my weapons up for this one enemy.
Nope. I think there was only one instance where you had to use something different, and that was that probe gun.
Yeah, the probe gun, and
Yeah.
that was kind of a stupid section.
Probing
Honestly.
stuff? Probing aliens?
Yeah.
Probe away.
There was one line from the main villain made me fucking laugh. Like, I paused the game and I was just sitting there dying. Like, he really says this. I kind of don't want to spoil it for Sam, because...
Yeah.
Go ahead, do it. I want to hear it.
So
Do it for me.
so fucking Danik, who is like the
He's the
human
evil church
protagonist.
leader.
Yeah, the human protagonist,
evil.
and the only reason I give a shit about him at all is because he's voiced by Simon Templeman, who's one of my favorite voice actors.
I sat there several times like, this character. I mean, this voice actor is completely wasted on this character.
Pretty much.
Completely wasted.
Anybody who plays Mass Effect would probably recognize him as
Chorus.
yes, but I know him best from Legacy of Kain. So near the end of the game, when you have to do some shit with an alien machine to destroy the moon, and Danik's just bugging you the whole time. He's like, "No, you shouldn't do this. You should not be doing this." And the whole time, like earlier, he tries to like throw logic at you because he's this religious leader and he's a doctor and all this other crazy bullshit. You know, he's supposed to be super smart. And one conversation, I shit you not, I'm not making this up. He actually says this. Isaac is going around turning the alien machine on, and Danik's like, "Clark, you do know what you're doing." Is like, I do, like Isaac says something to him, is like, you know,
Back
No.
at you.
like,
You don't know what you're
Dan-
doing!
no. Danik gets on the thing and he says to him, he's like, "What are you doing?" And Isaac's like, "I'm turning the machine on to end this." This is what made me laugh, is when Danik's like, "Well, stop it." Like, really? Like, wait a second.
I'm also 2 years old!
After he said that, I paused the
I'm
game
telling
and I
my
just started
mommy
fucking
on you.
dying.
What did he say?
He just said, stop it!
Yeah, like Isaac Clarke is like, I'm turning the machine on so we can end this, and Danik's just like, "Well, stop it." Like, swear to God, line for line, that's what he said. "Well, stop it." Like, this smart, educated villain resorts to something a 5-year-old would say. Like,
Stop!
what? Like, I paused the game and
I'm taking
I
my
started
alien machine
laughing.
and I'm going home.
it was so dumb. I was like, oh my god, the writing in this is shit. And granted, it's not like the game needed to have AAA writing, but dude, like, you're
Doesn't
trying
even
to
have
sell.
single A writing.
Yeah, like, you're trying to sell the fact that this guy is super intelligent and can outwit me and everything, but he just sounded like a fucking dumbass right there.
Well, it's also the
Yeah.
fact that he's the evil cult leader, and by definition, they
Yeah.
don't make any sense.
No.
Like,
But, like,
he never even sounds that charismatic. If I'm being perfectly honest, like, he's not
No, he
Hoffman
doesn't.
McDowell.
He just sounds like a fucking annoyance. Like, dude, shut up. Just.
Please, I'm trying to shoot aliens here.
And I remember I was at chapter 18, and I don't know if any of you guys care about spoiling this game.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I already know about the ending, so.
But yeah, spoiler twist: Isaac's girlfriend, who died earlier, is not actually dead.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
her face? Is where it says what's
Who
her
gives a
face?
shit what her name
Nicole.
is?
Nicole is
Ellie.
dead.
Ellie.
Damn it! Wait, Nicole. Wait, so that was the first game.
Yeah, Nicole was the first game. She's totally dead.
Which gave
So he got
me-
a new girlfriend who's
which
also
gave me-
dead but not dead.
Which gave me tons of Last of Us jokes.
Yeah, because there was this whole thing where, like, there's one part where, like, Ellie gets trapped in a room and there's this gas and she can't get out. And then near the end of it, you find out she totally got out of there, even though you kind of don't see how she could have. But then she gets held hostage, but whatever.
But it's like this stupid classic thing where the villain holds her hostage, but the moment he releases her, there should be immediate gunfire being launched in his general direction.
Yeah, basically.
And there is absolutely no reason to hand him the codex at that point. So
No,
it's like,
Carver fucked up.
yeah, totally.
Carver is a colossal fuck up at that spot.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, now, why aren't you shooting him? You have guns, yes?
Yeah.
Use them a lot.
Like, he just has... Like, he instantly throws Ellie aside so he can put that in, and it's like... Fucking blast him.
Yeah, like that is the point where he should immediately have like 50 bullet holes in his back
Yep.
for being
But-
stupid enough to be that desperate.
But no, Carver's like, there's more than one right to this, and totally gives him the codex, and it's like, no, you idiot. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, and for once, it's not the protagonist worrying about whether or not he should save his girlfriend. The protagonist pretty firmly in no. She's got to die so the world can be saved.
He's like,
Yep.
it's cool, it's fine.
But then the co-op partner, who is the most like he's kind of worthless, honestly.
So basically, what you're saying is that co-op ruined Dead Space on multiple levels, including the story.
No, just Carver's character is a dumbass. Because, like I said,
Yeah.
I got through this solo, and, like, Carver is kind of just a non-entity, really. Like, there's
But if
nothing
the game,
really...
But in my hypothetical situation, if the co-op didn't exist and Carver didn't exist, all would have been well.
And there
The
are a lot
world
of
would have been fine.
there are a lot of scenes where he's always just inserted after the fact.
I
Like
think...
it's just you'll see a lot of scenes where it's just like Isaac doing things, and then at the end of the scene you'll see Carver walk in,
He's
Yeah,
like,
pops
solo
into
character.
existence.
Like,
There's one rappel scene where at the end of the rappel there's a giant fan, so you're supposed to stasis it and then go past it. But when stasis wears off, there's a cutscene that's triggered, and then Isaac falls to the ground, and it's like, how the fuck did Carver get past that giant fan? Oh, he just popped in on the bottom. That's how.
yeah, I think...
We made a joke
Sam
about
did
that when we
video,
did our recording. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
he's Carver is magic. He just-
Yeah. Oh god, Carver is made of magic. That was episode 2.
Yep. But man, fucking, like, I think even if there wasn't co-op and, like, Carver didn't exist, they'd probably still have some bullshit character that takes the codex from Isaac and gives it to him, and then that character is
then,
just
like,
a colossal fuck
And he
up.
also has his like mystery optional objective section like in the middle of the game, and I do think it's cool that like my partner who was playing as Carver saw the delusions of the toy soldiers and all that shit when I didn't. To kind
Yeah.
of sell the fact that Carver is completely fucking insane.
Or slowly going there.
Well, they're both insane.
But
They
that
have
actual
space
mission
madness.
was so boring that when we quit in the middle of it and then it loaded us back and we were nowhere close to that mission, none of us had any desire to actually continue it.
Yeah, the save progress is weird because the save, like, the checkpoints are kind of spread a little
The
far apart
checkpoints
than they
seem-
should be.
The checkpointing sucks in this game.
Yeah. Because again, another change from the previous two games was you had kind of Resident Evil style save points to where you couldn't save unless you got back to the spot, used the save station, and then quit.
Mhm.
You know? Whereas that's not the case here. It all just kind of flows together, which some people might like better or hate it, but a lot of that I think was because of the fact that, one, they wanted to design this around co-op, and the fact that really the big thing that gets saved is your inventory.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, like when it's such a mediocre mission that when we reset, we loaded it back up and we were like nowhere close to that mission. We were both like, let's not even bother with that. Let's just finish this fucking game once and for all. Because we were both at that point getting really sick and tired of the game.
I thought it was funny how, like, both you and Ryuta-kun just do not give a shit anymore.
Yeah, it was the point where we were actually like, instead of fighting, we were just like running past enemies not because we couldn't fight them, but simply didn't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll admit that was one of the other problems I had
Like-
with this is that it feels super tedious when the game just starts throwing shit at you and you're just like, how
It's like
many
at
do you
that
have
point,
left?
running away wasn't like a like a time saver.
Yeah. It's like, how many are there? Come on. Just
Yeah, that, and the final boss is the goofiest fucking thing I've seen.
the final boss is so dumb.
Goddamn time. I sat there and when I saw what was happening, I just laughed like the Joker laughs.
Yeah.
For like 10 straight minutes, I was just laughing my ass
fuck
off. Like,
moon.
this is the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like when I sat there and thought about it, like the whole thing of this is where the necromorphs come from and everything. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it would have been a better idea if they never explained where the necromorphs came from. Like,
Because I just remember my partner and I, we're just like in silence, and then he just says, "We're fighting the moon right now.
yeah,
Yep.
We're fighting the moon."
Yep.
yep.
You definitely are.
And then the trophy unlocks, and when you look at the description, it says, "You defeated the moon." I'm like, this is the stupidest.
They knew when they put
Yeah.
that achievement. They're like, yeah, we definitely.
You defeated
made
the moon.
Fought the moon. Like, what the hell? The moon had a face.
Face moon.
And I was okay with Isaac Clarke just dying in the end. That was like, okay. Because, in fact, I even said earlier, if this game ends with everyone died, I'd be happy with that.
So you know
Because
the.
none of these guys deserve to live.
So
quite frankly.
you haven't played the DLC, right?
No, I saw the post-credit scene where he just says, "Ellie, Ellie."
So the DLC.
And I have absolutely zero interest in playing any DLC for this fucking game.
Well,
So don't even bother talking to me about it.
okay, because he's not dead.
I have
I
started
figured
it.
when he starts Ellie, Ellie at the post-credits scene.
Yeah,
I just wanted to ruin that moment for you. Like, I'm so glad he's dead. I'm like, yeah, but he's not.
Yeah,
I ruined the
and
one
Because I
part
Carver,
remember
where,
it was
like,
like around chapter 15 where I was looking at my partner and I was like, you know, if this game ended with every single character in this entire game dies, I'd be cool with that because quite frankly, none of these fuckers deserve to live. Carver is an idiot. Isaac Clarke is an idiot. Ellie's an idiot. The fucking the guy that backstabbed you, the obvious like evil loser, he deserved his death.
That reminds me. This was another gripe I have with the writing. Oh my god! But do you want to finish? Just
Go ahead.
okay.
Want to see where this
The,
takes us.
the point where, because you have this one asshole Norton who is just like he's the guy that Ellie is now with, but he totally has beef with
And I
you.
immediately said, this is the guy that's going to either die or turn evil. And it turned out he
Yeah.
did both.
Yeah, and he has beef with you because Ellie seems to kind of like you around, but he doesn't like that because it's his girlfriend now, whatever. And like, you know, the whole time,
whole time.
he didn't want to go through with the actual mission, despite the fact that Ellie wanted to go to the planet, go to the machine, all the stuff. He didn't want anything to do with that. Isaac, at first, he kind of didn't, but then he starts thinking, no, Ellie's totally right.
Wait a second. If he never wanted to do the mission, why did he get Isaac in the first place?
Because Ellie told him to, and he needed her to find him. He needed him to find her. That was kind of the reasoning behind it. They wanted to find it. They wanted Isaac.
Wait, then
because
why
it
not just
wanted him.
talk her out of the mission?
No, see, okay, they didn't know where Ellie was, and Norton went and got Isaac because that was one of the last things that Ellie had told him about. So they got him so that they could go find Ellie, and once they did, that's when Norton wanted to split.
Oh, that's why the plot was completely indecipherable. Because I
Yes.
was sat there like, who is this? Why are these people? What the fuck is going on? Why do
Yeah.
I care?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I felt.
They
So
don't
that's-
explain any of this particularly well.
No,
Obviously.
but after you find Ellie, like Norton just wants to split and go home, but Ellie's telling him, no, we can't leave. We have to go to the planet. We have to solve the shit, otherwise stop necromorphs, right? And Norton has the same attitude the whole time. Ellie is aware of it. Everybody is aware of it. He doesn't want to go through with this mission. And Isaac, at first, he's like that, But then once he sees the script, he's like, no, we totally have to go through with this. Ellie's totally right.
Script. That is the best way of putting.
Well, he sees the writing and shit on the captain's
Maybe he
wall.
realized that he was the protagonist.
I guess, whatever. But
it's like a lot of shit happens to me. I must be some kind of protagonist or something.
The point is that while Isaac at first wasn't liking the idea of the mission, he eventually warmed up to it, and he kind of made it clear that we have to do this, right? Yeah. Whereas Norton, the whole time, Norton's whole attitude was, this is a mistake, we just need to leave. After the segment where Isaac unfortunately has to shoot Norton in the head because the game makes you.
Yeah.
Like Isaac even tries to save him, but even Norton is still super asshole and tries to shoot you, but then you have to mash.
Oh my god, that scene pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
Like, you pull a gun on me right after I saved your ass. You have no right to live at this point.
Yep, fuck him.
Yep.
So, and then you tell Ellie about it. Ellie is such a dumbass. She starts going on like...
You know what's worse? Is that Isaac Clarke just says, I shot him. Never explains why he shot him.
Like, the only time...
Doesn't even bother trying to.
It's obviously just there to start turmoil.
Yeah, and then Carver,
so deep and adult.
Carver actually does something useful by explaining, no, he held a gun up to his head. He had no choice. I saw it. That's where Ellie should have been like, that sucks, but you did the right thing. No, she gets pissed off, and she's like, why'd you kill him? And it's like...
Even worse, it only happens for like 10 minutes.
Like, the fact that she tells Isaac, you never believed in the mission? I was like, get fucked, Ellie! Norton was the one who never believed in the mission. Why are you pissed at me?
I know,
Isaac was the one on her side. That was so dumb. That did not make sense at all.
And the scientist chick, she deserved her death too, because she was not... She's like, why didn't you get off the elevator fast enough? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
All you had to do was get off the fucking elevator.
If she'd have jumped, she probably would have been totally fine.
Then when Isaac Clarke's like, I could have reached her, it's like, dude, you were like a mile away from her. There was no chance of that happening.
Yeah, but... Yeah, like, that bit where Ellie actually says, you never believed in the mission, like, I fucking paused it, put my controller down, I was like, get fucked. That was... No. Writers, you fucked up. That's... No.
Yeah.
I didn't know the game was written by a bunch of chimpanzees. Like, Jesus. Sorry, JonTron. Hopefully it doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Man, fuck that.
The game is not well.
I've
heard terrible things.
Zero interest in playing any DLC that may or may not be associated with it.
So here's my thing.
That's the fun part of playing me, is we're going to play all the RE6 campaigns, we're going to play the Dead Space DLC.
Okay, so here's the thing. Dead Space 3, I will say, I genuinely wanted to finish it, because I was kind of enjoying my time with it. And the reason, I totally agree why
You're a
Brandon hates...
fuck, Chris.
I totally see why... I see why Brandon hates it, and I see why other people hate it. They have every reason to.
You sure bet I fucking do.
Yeah, I mean, and I will admit, granted, I probably would not have paid $60 for this, but, and while I can understand, I was disappointed with it at first, especially compared to the first two games, but when I look at this game by itself, on its own merits, not comparing it for the first two, I kind of see it as... No, I kind of see it as something almost nostalgic. Like, this is a video game of stuff I would have played on the Super Nintendo or something, to where, like, I go through a linear level, I kill a bunch of dudes to get to the end, and then I eventually win, but I've also got this progression system and stuff. That's kind of how I saw it. Like, not compared to the first two games, and looking at this as a game by itself, it was a video game.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
You shoot stuff.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
You should.
You shoot stuff, and of course there's ammo everywhere because they want you to shoot everything. That's how that's supposed to be played. And I totally get why you think it's gross. I'm just saying that's kind of how I saw this.
I mean, not even as a horror game, as an action game, it fails.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't think it's that bad as an action game. I just kind of see it like that because, yeah, the story is dumb as a box of rocks, but, like, some of my favorite Super Nintendo games, they're like that, too. Like, who gives a fuck if Sigma keeps coming back in Mega Man X?
The only issue is, like, the game, there's, like, no variety, like I said earlier. It's like, they don't even try to spice things up, like, new enemy types, because they all get shot, they all get killed the exact same way. Like, every enemy boils down to charging at you. Even Space Al Qaeda.
It's the best Al Qaeda.
The terrorists just Space Al Qaeda. They're fucking space terrorists. The cult.
Yeah.
And another thing is that, like, at first, it's very, very clear that Carver does not like Isaac at all, and I never figured out why.
Because he's a dick?
Yeah, Carver's an idiot.
I don't fucking know. I don't understand any of the story.
I am,
played
quite
with
frankly,
Chris.
in the moment I finished that game, I was more than happy to purge it from my hard disk drive.
Purge it. Destroy it.
Get rid. That is 11 gigabytes. I am happy to get back.
But Brandon, it's always going to be on your Origin account. How do you get rid of it
So
forever?
yeah, Acharki, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back now. Sorry.
I need to ask you a question.
I thought you were like really hurt and sad.
No.
His butt hurt
Skype
a
was
lot.
being a dumbass.
I need to
Like
ask you a
Brandon.
question, Chris.
Yes.
In the beginning, it becomes very clear that Carver does not like Isaac for any fucking reason. Why
pretty
is
much.
that?
I don't know. Because
It's unexplainable,
I
really.
think
It's a
I
phenomenon.
think it's just this whole thing of Carver's all hard ass because his family's dead, and now he just doesn't like anybody.
He doesn't
want
want to
anybody close
feel
to him.
anymore.
Because I was like, what the fuck? Did your
But it's
character hate
just-
mine?
Stereotypical jarhead.
And then later on, like in chapter like 11 or so, I was like, does your character still hate mine? I don't really understand what's going on. And why? What is...
I just
Hey, Brandon,
felt like
it's
Carver
all
was, like-
explained in the DLC.
yeah, like
They explain
Carver,
everything.
Sam,
Only
go get
$10.99.
fucked.
I'm working on it.
Carver really doesn't seem to establish any kind of character until the DLC, honestly.
Or until like this optional mission that we tried to do, but we just no, not gonna happen.
Which, unfortunately, I couldn't do because, like I said, I was playing by myself. So,
Oh, don't worry, you'll get a chance.
we totally will.
It basically reveals that Carver had a family and he was a bad father and all that bullshit that's typical of
See, I
military
was in-
stories.
So I was totally oblivious to all of that because he talks about that stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what you're
He
talking
has a
about.
wife and kid. There's an audio diary where his wife confronts him for not being in. She said you said he was going to be gone 3 hours. It's been 3 days, and then she confronts him the fact that he says, "Oh, I'm just doing military duty," but she says, "No, I know you took off because I asked your officer."
What?
And it's just like some typical like military family manners bullshit that is so typical of macho men war stories that I'm not even going to care.
Yeah. But I think that just genuinely wraps up what I thought about. Like, I will say this. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Dead Space 3. I'm actually gonna try to get like some of the artifacts and
Do you
stuff.
hate yourself, Chris?
Not as much as I hate myself.
Like I said, I don't see like yeah, as a Dead Space game, it is inferior.
As a Dead Space game, as a horror game, as an action game,
Yeah, but I've played a lot worse.
as a
And I was-
video game.
And I'm not saying
Oh, I
that's
love
an
video
excuse
games.
for it to be bad, but like I'm saying, like I just kind of see this as, considering the fact that I got this very cheap from a humble bundle.
I'm pretty sure I bought it for you if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you did. I didn't buy it.
So there you go.
Yeah, so like I see this as something I could still play.
Because
Um,
I got it free on PS Plus, and I'm sad I downloaded it.
Just really didn't like that game, did you?
No, I don't like those people. I don't like the game. I don't like playing it. I didn't like anything of that game.
like I said, like the
Okay,
gameplay is
That's a
heavily
lie.
flawed.
I will say the weapon crafting was kind of amusing.
Yeah, I will say that yes, the gameplay
10 out
was
of 10.
flawed, but like the gameplay, it held my attention. And one of the other things, Resident Evil 6 made me appreciate the environment of Tal Volantis more. Because while Resident Evil is dark as all fuck, Tal Volantis at least is brightly lit, and I can look at it a good deal.
Yeah,
like,
but it's the same tundra the
Kind of,
entire
yes.
fucking time.
yeah, it is basically.
It's the same fucking tundra, and it doesn't change.
But hey, there's snow. You know,
Yeah.
I think the problem is you're playing on PS3 and PS3 sucks. So there's probably played on the master PC version with the graphics that are so
Sam?
good your eyes will melt off.
Zam,
Yeah?
speaking of eyes melting off, take a knife and stab it in your eye.
Oh wow.
I will. I'm looking at my beautiful 1080p screen that your console cannot output.
Fuck yourself.
At least I'll be doing it in 1080 by 1920.
You
60 hertz, 60 frames per second, not 30.
Man, yeah, that's pretty much all I've played,
Great.
and I think that kind of bled into what Brandon was experiencing
so
too.
let's do my turn now since that
Sure.
kind of makes a good transition point for it.
Whatever you want to do.
After well, as I played Dead Space 3 and I don't want to talk any more about that fucking game. But aside from that, I also finished Arkham Origins today.
Ah,
And it's
a game.
I feel that while it isn't as good as Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, the developers should sure as shit feel really proud of what they put out. Because it is not a bad game.
I am curious if you had like any problems with like bugs or anything.
In terms of bugs, no. I don't think I've had any like real glitches or anything like that in the game. It was fairly stable.
I had when I played on PC, I had the Angry Joe bug that he demonstrated when trying to get into the window. Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, I didn't have that issue, so I didn't know it was a particularly buggy game.
On PC, I believe it was. I think it was fine on others.
Yeah, because I remember like that whole thing of when the developers kind of came out and said, we're not really worrying about patch fix or bug fixing, we're more worried about the DLC.
Yeah, I remember
that.
Yeah, that was the worst comment you can release.
And again, I blame the publisher more than the developer for that, quite
Which
frankly.
would be Warner Bros, I believe?
Yes.
It has to be, I
Yes.
guess. Batman.
But I thought it was a really well made game. Like the thing is, if this game was made without the context of Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, it would be one of the best Batman games that's ever been released.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really the thing that has kind of like Dead Space 3. That, at least in my opinion, is the fact that Dead Space 1 and 2 exist is why this looks pretty bad. But
well, you're
the
wrong
fact
on that. You're objective.
I totally understand why you feel that way, but we're not going to
remember, I have no context for the Dead Space games aside from Dead Space 3.
You totally should play the first two, but yeah, the reason Arkham Origins kind of is seen as a disappointment, if any, is because of Arkham Origins Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
I feel genuinely bad for the developers because the fighting is competent and it's very well made and very polished. The art style was great. The story is great. It's just not up to Arkham City.
I think the problem is that the worst thing going against Arkham Origins is the prior games. It's the biggest enemy of that game is the games that came before.
Because the game is really good. That's just the problem is that when you compare it to Arkham City.
Actually, so while we're talking about other sequels like that piss Brandon off, Dragon Age 2. If Dragon Age Origins didn't exist, Dragon Age 2 would be much more well regarded.
Don't interrupt me.
Brandon doesn't like
Dragon Age 2. I did like the plot, although it feels like, and I thought what was really cool was that scene with the Joker, because I don't know if any of you played Arkham Origins, but there's a scene where Joker gets imprisoned after Batman defeats him the first time in the story.
Yep.
And he talks to Harley Quinn, and he explains that since Batman didn't kill him, it's like changed his outlook on life entirely.
Yep.
Whereas previously he was all about murder. But now he just kind of singled out the Bats as like the one person in the world who might have a single bit of chance at understanding him.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it kind of like sets up it in a weird like after the fact way. It sets up the Joker's relationship with Batman in Arkham City. Mm-hmm. Where I don't know if you remember Arkham City, where he was always like, "You and I, we are two sides of the same coin."
Yeah.
But that this is kind of like the establishment of that relationship between Batman and the Joker, and it was really interesting to watch it unfold. Although the assassin plot gets sidetracked as soon as the Joker goes in, because the twist is that it wasn't Black Mask pulling the strings; it was the Joker disguised as Black Mask.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only thing that kind of bummed me out about the game is I was just like, it's the Joker again. I'm like, he's a good villain, but fuck, I want someone else's story.
To be fair to them, again, at this point, what other villains are there that can really hold up for an entire game? And the reason I say this is because the other big villains are the Riddler. You can't have the Riddler be the main villain because the Riddler has already been established as the guy that gives you all the side collectibles to collect, and you can't change that. Unfortunately,
there's a lot of villains in Batman, though, man. It's a lot.
Anybody else?
The Penguin, Poison Ivy, and all of them have been regulated to side characters at this point by Arkham, just by the previous Arkham games. So if we put them in the main story, it feels like a step down.
Anybody else remember Sin Tzu? Anybody?
No, you lost me.
No?
No.
Yeah. Funny story.
It's like
Sin Tzu was actually a Batman villain that was introduced in a video game.
Huh. But he's part of the chronology, he does exist as a character?
They've never really brought him up a whole lot. They brought him up in comics, but they brought him up in comics, but surprisingly enough, I don't know if he's appeared in any cartoons or anything because so Sin Tzu was a villain that was made up to be in the Batman universe and everything for a video game that was simply called Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. And it was one of the few good superhero games of the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation. It was straight up a beat 'em up, but it was actually a good one where you could have 4-player co-op. And again, he could have been made for the cartoons because the whole game was based on the current animated series of that time, which was basically, season 4 of the legendary Batman animated series. And it had 4-player co-op because you could play as Batman, Nightwing, Robin, or Batgirl. So, it was a good fucking game.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, you can't use other villains like Ra's al Ghul because not only is he dead, he's dead, and you can't use Hugo Strange for the same reason.
Yeah.
Further, you can't use Bane because it's been established by this point that Bane is hired muscle in the Arkham world. You can't have him as the main villain, so that feels again like a step down.
Black Mask probably would have been the only other real character that you could have done like that.
And you can't do him anymore because he's already been established as inferior to the Joker in the Arkham lore.
What about...
There's gotta be more villains.
At this point, anything you really do is a step down from the Joker.
I want to say possibly Hush, because if you did that whole Easter egg thing...
Yes, I did that side quest in Arkham City.
Yeah, if you did that, that seemed like it could have led up to some interesting stuff.
Yeah, that is the one you can really use.
Yeah.
Although I think they're doing Scarecrow in Arkham Knight.
Yes,
they are.
They said that.
Yeah, where Scarecrow is taking over now that the Joker's out of the picture.
He's dead now.
Yeah. And again, the ending of Arkham City is a really hard ending to top. Because it's one of the biggest things that's almost ever happened to Batman at that point.
Yeah, basically. I mean, despite the fact that, Joker is not a character I would mourn for, considering the graveyards full of people he's filled.
Well, it's not that the Joker died, it's that the Joker died and Batman couldn't do anything to stop it.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Even though he stabbed him in the arm and that forced him to drop
I just remember that final line. The funny thing is that I would have saved you.
Yeah. The funny thing? I actually would have saved you.
Oh my god.
After everything you've done.
My voice is...
And Joker goes, you know what? That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
he's like, it's actually kind of funny. Coughs and dies.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. And then if you watch the end credits halfway through, Batman gets a voicemail.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Holy shit, that was fucking bone-chilling.
That had to be
you.
If there was anything for Mark Hamill to end on, that had to be it. Now, granted, technically, that's not the last time Mark Hamill played Joker. It's just the thing that people actually kind of remember most, because
although that is one of the best ways I could have of Hamill closing out that character.
Oh my god.
Because I guess when he did announce that that was his last time playing Joker, they really did have to go all out, balls to the wall, to make that a fitting conclusion to the joke, to Mark Hamill's the Joker.
Yeah, and it worked.
Absolutely, it worked.
Yeah, I remember my nephew was actually playing Arkham City before I did. I have the game in my library.
Yeah.
And I wasn't playing it. I got burned out after Arkham Asylum. I was like, it was good, but I mean, damn. And I knew Arkham Asylum was gonna be, or Arkham City was gonna be bigger. So he wanted to play it, and I was watching him play, and he kept giving me the controller. I need help. And so I was kind of playing it, and I went, you know what, fuck it, I know what to do. I'm gonna play my own profile, damn it. And I just got hooked. And he's like, I want to play. I'm like, shh, go away. I'm like,
yeah.
The night.
And going back to Arkham Origins, Troy Baker does a very good job of voicing the Joker.
Yep.
Give that man credit for what he did, because if you're not like paying really close attention, it would be hard to like separate him from Mark Hamill.
There was
Troy Baker has a lot of range.
Yeah, you have to like really be paying attention and notice the subtleties in the voice to see the difference. Really,
I haven't played Origins, but I watched it on YouTube, and I couldn't really tell. I'm sorry, Turkey. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say that there was a really good video I saw where Troy Baker kind of did like a quick like on the spot. Here's some questions for you.
I remember that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because Troy Baker, he recently did the voice of the Joker for an animated DVD. I think it was actually called like Batman Arkham or something like that, because it's a story that involves like the Suicide Squad, which was made up characters Deadshot, Harley Quinn, even and a couple of other like somewhat villains now turned vigilante characters going into Arkham for something, and it gets really weird. And the Joker's in there, and the Joker was played by Troy Baker, and Troy Baker was basically talking about how like it gets compared to Mark Hamill's performance, but even he had to admit that's really hard to live down. And that's really hard act to follow.
Because Mark Hamill is the definitive Joker.
Yeah.
So really, like, it's not like there's anything wrong with trying to replicate that, because obviously that's what the studios and everybody wanted him to do.
Yeah.
And he was very, very qualified to do it.
To a much lesser extent, but still somewhat the same, is Kevin Conroy's the Batman.
Yeah.
A lot of people like me will say that is Batman to me. Like
he's the voice of Batman.
Very deep but very
voice
clear
actor they got to play Batman in Origins does a plausible. It's plausibly like a younger Kevin Conroy.
It's kind of funny that they're both great, and if the other games didn't exist, you'd be like, wow, this voice acting is incredible. But again, just like with the older games, it's like they just set such a high bar that it was just impossible to surmount.
Yeah, like I kind of feel bad for like the guy who did Batman in Arkham Origins, because they're making Arkham Knight, and what they brought Kevin Conroy back. Yeah. Not to say anything
again,
bad
I feel terrible for all the people who did that game, because it's a really well-made, well-polished, and well-done game. It's just that it's made in light of Arkham City, which...
Yeah.
Plus, there was just Batman fatigue going on, and I know a lot of people who were just like, dude, third Batman game in 3 years, I'm just tired.
But I want to say those developers should feel proud of what they put out. They put out an amazing product.
I would think the best thing I could say for it is I look forward to seeing them do something new, like a new IP or something that's not another Batman game.
Yeah.
Bat City great, but I want to see that team doing something.
They've definitely proven they can make a game, and they can make a one at that.
I'd be really cool to see what they do next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for them.
I'm all for that.
So, is that all, Brandon?
I also played a bit of Dragon's Crown.
Yeah, let's never talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about boobs.
I only played for like an hour of it. I'm playing as the mage, the wizard.
So
I kind of figured you were either going to play as him or the sorceress, but...
No, Brandon doesn't like the huge boobs. I can't get over that.
That's why I couldn't play her, because I knew I wouldn't be able to get over it. I would not be able to get over it. That's why I didn't play as a sorceress.
I will say, though, like, and I'm sure this is a point that's been brought up before, but the whole thing with, like, the women look very exaggerated. The elf, the elf and, like, the archer character, like, she's not that exaggerated.
Like, I was gonna choose between the wizard or the elf, and I bet you picked the wizard.
Yeah. But the thing is... Yes, the women are clearly exaggerated, but so are the men. Yeah. Look at the dwarf. Look at the fighter.
Yeah.
Look at the size of their penises.
They have incredibly huge barrel chests. And
it is odd that the two characters I wanted to play are the most normal looking.
Yeah, the wizard and the elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything in that game is exaggerated. You like even the NPCs and stuff that you run into, like some of them just look fucked up. Like, but it's the style of it. So it's like, yeah, stuff is over sexualized, but you know what? There's equal treatment because women are not the only ones that get treated that way. The men do too, which I kind of like. Like,
yeah, that's interesting, but it does feel weird. I'm not gonna lie, like it feels really weird.
Like, how far have you gotten into the game?
I've only played like maybe a couple hours, honestly. I'm like level I think 5 or 6.
Is this free on Plus?
Yes, it is.
Shit, I gotta get that. I need something.
You totally should.
And it has, both the PS3 and PS Vita versions are free.
Yes, dude, fucking,
Now,
I love
the
PS
game
Plus.
does have the game isn't normally cross-buy, but for PS Plus this month it is.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Also,
And
I will say, like,
it does have cross saves though.
Especially after Chris reminded me of Double Dragon Neon and how much I love fucking beat 'em ups.
This is a fucking good game.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I need that in my life.
It's a very solid game. I'm enjoying my time with it so
Now,
far.
granted, the big gripe that I have with the game is the fact that you can't play online until you make a certain amount of progress. Like, you have to play each stage once.
Like, what
But then
level
after-
were you on before you became able to do online?
I think I was like level 23 or 24, somewhere around there.
Shit,
Like, that's
man, I got a lot of work.
It takes a while. It really is like the longest tutorial ever in a video game. Because the
No,
game,
that would be Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
like, because I think there are like 9 or 10 different actual stages, and once you go through each one, then the game opens up and says now you can play online by accessing this gate. Because then the game starts to turn into the treadmill of you have to go through certain pathways. Because that's the other big thing is that you have to replay areas, but all the areas have different paths. So there are multiple bosses for each stage. So if you've gone through there, you beat a boss, guess what? That's not the only one. You're not done yet.
So
But it's really good though.
Yeah, you should all probably play together sometime. I don't know if Garrett has a PS3, so
Garrett, are you there?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Do
you have a PS3?
No, I do not.
Damn.
Okay, never mind.
Sadly, I have an Xbox 360 and a PC.
That's
My
fine.
nephew had a
That's
PS3.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Aside
Your
from
nephew
that,
can download Dragon's Crown if he has PS Plus.
aside from those 3 things, I bought a 3DS today.
Woo!
Yeah.
Join the party.
Yeah, it's about time. It really is.
Yeah, I got mine like 6 months ago, and I was like, shit, I am behind on games.
Yes, yes, I am. I have a huge list on Amazon. I need to go through at some point.
So last thing I was gonna ask you: are you going digital, or are you going physical, or gonna mix?
I'm probably gonna mix it, honestly.
Because
Right
I
now-
might, like, I started physical, and I really just want to go all digital now. Like, I just don't want to deal with fucking boxes.
The 3 games I bought with it are Project Cross Zone,
Never heard of it.
Shin Megami Tensei 4, and Bravely Default.
Oh,
So
dude,
which
tell me how
game
Bravely
did
is.
you... before you do that, I just gotta ask, which game did you pop your 3DS cherry with?
Project Cross Zone.
Ah,
Project Cross Zone?
that's a good one.
What the hell's Project Cross Zone?
That was the huge, like, multi-video game company crossover game.
Yes,
Oh,
it
they made a
was
few of those
it
for
was
the PS3.
it was the Namco and Capcom crossover game.
Yeah, they've made a few of those
Yeah.
already on different consoles.
You know, and it's an RPG, not a fucking shit fighting game like
yeah,
that they put out.
they've made a few of those. But
Yeah.
the first 3DS one. Cool.
I'm not surprised they came to the US with all the contract disputes that Japan is known for.
Yeah, it's weird. Like some of that stuff actually hits here, like Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Like I'm surprised I got an American release.
Yeah, but I'm glad I finally took that plunge. And then the last thing, and this is going to be quick, I have started as a little like pet project of mine, coding my own like 2D RPG.
Oh shit.
I'm not really far in it. I haven't really started any actual like coding. I'm just kind of getting my classes and my data structures all put together. But I plan to like keep working on that a bit, little by little, and maybe get
Nice.
something interesting put out in the end.
I'll totally be in it.
Yep, I want cameos. It's necessary.
No,
I got a friend of mine who apparently wants to make a game, and he was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'll code the whole thing for you if you want. Because he's at Georgia Tech. He's like, just give me a design idea.
yeah. Because I mean, right now the one thing I know about is that it's an RPG and it's going to be in an urban fantasy setting. That's the only thing I've established so far. I have nothing else established in my game whatsoever.
Great. Off to a good start.
Yeah, although it's probably best to get all the mechanics worked out and then worry about story later.
Yeah. I
So
remember for a while, me and that said friend of mine had an idea for a multiplayer horror shooter, and we were trying to figure out all the concepts of that.
Left 4 Dead.
Like a game that could truly be scary in multiplayer. And it was like really hard to try to figure shit out.
But yeah, that was my week in a nutshell.
Cool.
I always come in and think didn't do a lot, and then when I look at the things I played and did this week, I realize I did a shit ton of things and just didn't realize it.
Yep. And then, of course, hating on Dead Space 3, but that's...
Fuck that game so fucking
Yeah,
much. I fucking hate it. It's fucking terrible. Fuck that game. I fucking hate it.
So, Dead Space 3 Game of the Year, right? It's going on the list.
Game of the century.
Fucking game of the fucking time. Nothing better.
So yeah, what have you
Game
two
of the
losers been
goddamn
doing lately?
millennium. Can I say what I've been doing?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see. Speaking of coding and stuff like that, I'm going to be doing game development at college. I start on Tuesday.
Man, everybody's
Awesome,
making games.
awesome.
I should start making games,
Yes.
so I won't be the only one who's not.
I can't wait. I even for a class we had to buy, which was only $20. We had to buy The Art of Game Design, which apparently Cliffy B says is the best book on game design.
Well, shit,
And
have you
he's-
seen that
he's-
guy's hair?
Even quoted. He's even quoted. And that's the next thing. What did I do? Speaking of hair, do you guys have obviously people who are listening to the podcast won't be able to see this, but
Yeah.
they'll be able to hear your reactions. Can you guys see the do you guys have video quality?
I
Yeah.
saw the image you had on Twitter.
Me too.
Okay, well, yeah. Can you guys see
I
me?
mean, I see a loading screen. Hey, it's good! Hey, Garrett!
Hi.
You should.
It's so
Oh.
weird to see his face. It's like he has a real body and he's not just some
And a
disembodied
real
voice.
I don't really
Holy shit.
Hey, Garrett, what are you doing Friday night, baby? You're looking good. Someone's-
Blue hair.
Garrett's got blue hair.
Oh, fuck.
It's
I
blue!
look like a slob right now, so I would never even dare to put myself on
Oh,
video.
man, I can't wait
I
till I
got-
get a
I got-
webcam and I can keep it on the whole time and piss you guys off with it.
I almost wear my Johnny the Homicidal Maniac t-shirt, but I've got in my League of Legends jacket. But anyway, I've got blue hair, and it's actually cut like Dante from DMC.
Yeah, it is!
Yeah,
Fucking
that's how I got
Dante's
it
a
cut.
sex machine.
So it's what they did was they styled it like a mohawk, and then they cut this really short, and everything that's really short is still black because my hair is naturally black, so it's still black, and then I just kind of combed it down, and what's combed is blue.
It's racist.
So that's what I got, and it just got dark because
Well, I know what picture we can use as our
Because
background for this week.
auto settings.
Well, you know what? For the viewers out there, I already know what background we can use for this week. So long as Garrett has more than a 2-megapixel camera to take it with. Otherwise, they'll never be able to tell.
here we go. All right, and I'll turn off the video now.
Ah, bummer.
Sorry.
I just need like 5 minutes.
Boop, there we go.
Oh my god. Changed to green.
Everything's back to normal. We're
Yep.
good.
Yep, can't see his face. Everything's okay now.
My hair is blue.
Anyway.
So that's exciting. We have to play Sanctum 2. I just downloaded that.
Yeah, we should play that. It's like a game
Yeah, I
that
need to
people play.
install it.
God damn it, everybody. I told you to download it.
And that's about it. Dylan wanted to play Halo 4. He was actually playing that early on in the
I need to finish
podcast.
that.
So I'm sitting here playing that with him multiplayer heroic while doing the podcast. But he's gone now, so now
Wouldn't
I'm
be the
just
first time someone's played video games on the podcast. Right, Brandon?
Absolutely.
I'd never do it.
You say that like you know something.
I'd never play video games on the podcast. That would be terrible.
I know nothing.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Chris?
I'm trying to think. Honestly, other than getting my hair dyed and getting ready to start college, that's about it.
College, big thing, man. Takes
College is
wow.
a big thing. I
Yeah.
cannot wait.
I'm
I'm
do
all
something
set.
people can't hear
I'm
or
in my
see
senior
either.
year.
My book bag is going to be. Oh, hang on. My book bag is going to be. Fuck it, we're both gonna do this. Yeah.
Oh my Christ! Oh my God! It's the first I've ever seen
It's gonna
Chris
be weird,
move.
isn't it?
Oh my god.
This is too
Run
weird!
away.
Turn it off! Oh God! It's gotten too real!
I am nowhere near close to decent. No way.
Oh, I wish I had a
That is so
webcam.
cool.
I wish I had a
Yeah,
webcam.
we should all do it.
I mean, if I get on Skype on my laptop,
no one
I
can
do
see
it.
this.
No one can see this. No.
I keep telling you guys we should do a video podcast where, like, I record this part.
That would be cool. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I want to see faces. I'm losing at fucking Counter-Strikes. I'm staring at guys on webcams.
Oh, Brandon's doing it.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Oh my god, it's Brandon! Look at it!
Oh, where'd he go?
He looked totally different than I would have imagined him looking.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
him in a tux. He's very dashing.
How do you see me in your head?
You're gone now.
Oh my god, you're all so white.
He looks older than I would imagine.
I just realized from this distance, Chris just looks just like Ryan from Achievement Hunter. Like, use that as your basis.
It's funny. I've been compared to two different people from Achievement Hunter, like Jeff from. I sound
Yeah,
like Jeff.
you
and
sound
I look
just like
Ryan.
Jeff. Yes, you do. That's hilarious.
I think the video on my end just fucking stopped.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
the video.
This
yeah, the
is.
video.
I can't concentrate on the shooting of the other people.
Quit the game and turn your fucking webcam on, dick.
Oh, I gotta
He
put up.
actually
I can
does-
boot up my laptop. It's right next to me. You can see the side of my head.
He actually does look like Ryan a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's funny for me because I have no idea what that guy looks like.
Oh, really? That's funny.
You haven't watched
basically look like
Rooster
him.
Not recently.
Just not like the Let's Plays. Like Versus is a good way to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Connect game.
Oh my god, that was beautiful. We gotta do that after the podcast so I can put my face on.
That was fucking amazing.
Plus, I can
Oh
screen
yeah, I
cap
just
it.
realized I had one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick.
For the people watching, listening to this, they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
About
Bear in
like,
mind, I have
turning on the
never
webcam.
seen these guys'
Yeah,
faces.
we turned webcams on, despite the fact this is audio podcasts.
Yeah, but you have to
About
imagine
our
the
development,
reason
one
why
more
this
thing
is momentous is because we've barely ever seen each other's faces before.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Like, despite the fact we put fucking pictures of ourselves on, like, Twitter and shit, but...
Yeah, but I just,
You do.
It's different when you see emotion and you know they're alive. They're not just some
Yeah.
stall picture.
yeah.
I'd like to see Brandon's face as he fucking hate fucks Dead Space.
Oh, I want to see Brandon Hatefoot Deck Space in video form.
I want to see that.
I'm glad that doesn't exist because
What,
like
what face does Brandon make while he hate fucks a game? I want
I
to see
get
that.
really like sweary and angry.
I just want to see. I just want to
some
see your
games.
expression while you do that. Just like, what does he look like?
But yeah, like I was saying, I one thing I want to talk about when it comes to game development is that I tried doing it in Game Maker Studio at first, and then I realized that I'd just be better off coding this all by myself. Because
Probably.
Game Maker is made for someone who's not really into coding like I am. So when I went, I'm like, how do I fuck with the code in this thing? And there is a way to do it. I just didn't know what it was. But I was like, I'm just better doing this in C++.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Sam, your turn.
Oh
No,
shit!
we fucking hijacked Garrett's turn.
Oh,
like,
we did.
That's because we saw his face and everything changed.
yeah. And his blue hair.
My day will never be the same.
No, I was just trying to think of something else that I might have done this weekend or this week, and it's like, okay, let me see.
Did you play any
I
Dead
got all-
Space 3?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, New Day was great.
I played. Oh, God, I'm trying to think. Oh, I finally started playing. Thomas Was Alone.
Yeah,
Ooh.
good game.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Very very fun.
Was it,
game.
It's a good game. It's a
Uh,
very short game too. It should only take like about an hour or two.
Was it
Yeah.
Volume that made you start playing it?
And now it's been in my
Your library.
It's been in my library for a while, and I just figured I want to play that. I also finally started up Metro Last Light. Holy shit, that's fantastic! I snuck up behind all of the Nazis in the in the camp when you're taken there, and I killed all of them. Didn't raise any alarms. It was perfect because I love stealth games. And then I look at the achievements like, oh, if I just knocked them out, I would have gotten the achievement. So I went back to do it again. Yeah.
Metro's a fun game.
Metro's amazing. Yeah, I figured like if you knock them out, they could get back up or something. So I was like, now you gotta take care of them real quick.
We were talking
Like-
about Metro, like Last Light in 2033.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Last Light.
I need to
Last
go-
And,
Light in particular.
I can't wait for that new one to come out.
That'd be great.
The
Yeah.
remix.
Yeah.
Oh, and then a while back, somebody mentioned Grim Grimoire.
I did.
Okay, I found that game for $5 on PS2 at a used everything store. It's like a used bookstore, mostly books, but used books, and then some video games. And they have like one of the new slim Xbox 360s for $200 there. Used like it's a used everything store, and they had that game for $5 on PS2. I got it.
Have you played it yet?
Yes.
What'd you think?
It's pretty fun.
Did you like it the way I did?
It kind of reminds me a little bit of a. I like the style of it, but it kind of reminds me of a. Has anyone in here played Okagi Shadow King?
Yes, I did. I did. I love
game.
that game.
Apparently.
It's just the style kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, I remember Okage. That was a really good game.
I love that game.
Very underrated.
Absolutely. I remember telling my dad about that game when I was young and playing it, and because I got that game and I got Haunted Mansion for the PS2, and I actually liked that game too. But yeah, that was that is a fantastic game, and I was telling my dad about it, and he's like, "Wow, that sounds really cool. It sounds really cool." And the more I talk about it, it went from, "Wow, that sounds cool," to, "Wow, Garrett, this sounds really stupid."
This is actually the worst thing I've ever heard.
I mean, the
of.
premise is really, really goofy. Like when you think about it.
I'm like, Dad, I think what it was my dad finally got tired of like
Humoring you.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, this is really cool, son." And in the back of his head, he's like, "Oh, this is stupid." And finally, he just snapped him.
Because for those of you who don't know,
cracked.
Okage is basically the story of this ordinary kid in an ordinary village who
So
gets
ordinary.
possessed by a shadow king,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
by an evil king.
Wait, is this
His name
Shaman
is
King?
Stan.
Oh, okay.
Stan.
Yeah.
That's
Evil
right. Yeah,
King
Stan.
Stanley.
Who is?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm so scary. Watch this. And he's not scary at all. Everyone's like, wow, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's basically the story is that Stan has lost all of his evil magic, so he has to possess someone to stay alive, essentially.
Yeah.
And your goal as his slave, which you agreed to so that you could save your sister and turn her shadow pink.
Yeah. He's like, I will save her life, and he does, but a
As a
side
si-
effect is like her shadow turns pink.
Save
And
her,
she goes,
you
I
save
like
her
it.
from the curse of pig Latin to turn her shadow pink.
Yeah.
Games are weird.
And then since he's lost his power, he makes you as his slave go and fight all the evil kings to get back his magic from them.
God, I was stuck on the very first boss, the Rat King.
Yeah.
I was stuck on him for a very long time. Pissed me off. But I remember, and then you meet that one girl who's always carrying around the umbrella.
Yeah,
And
Rosalind.
it's like everyone knows your shadow, and then she punches the guy in the face. I'm like, okay, her shadow's pink.
Yeah.
I
Because she
her
was
shadow.
possessed by Stan at some point earlier in her life, and she's hated him ever since for turning her shadow pink and making her a disgraced hero.
Yeah.
It's a
And
really
then,
weird game. It's a really bizarre
It's a
game.
really weird game. Yeah, and then when she first hears Stan, she goes, "Oh, I know that voice." And then there's the Rat King fight. I was like, okay, yep, she knows Stan. Her shadow's pink. Got it.
And
no
she uses a
twist coming up.
she uses a parasol shadow to hide her own.
Yeah, that's it. Parasol. I was trying to think of the type of umbrella.
You guys have
It's-
checked out from this conversation, haven't you?
It's a great game.
What?
Wait, what?
Oh,
What?
did I ever tell you the part where the final boss uses the power of classification?
I
I haven't gotten to the final boss, honestly.
I've played some weird
Oh.
games, man. But
Oh
fuck.
yeah, the ending of that game is fucking weird, yo.
Wait, which game?
Okage Shadow King.
Really
Oh.
quick, okay, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the guy who wore glasses, the very science guy. I can't
Your
remember
dad?
his name. No, there was a character that you meet.
Oh, the scientist, the one with the books
Yeah.
as a weapon.
Yes.
I think his name's Kissling.
Yeah. That actually sounds really familiar. I remember the first time I ran into the guy, I didn't want to be mean to him. I was kind of annoyed he was blocking my path, but I was like, okay, I'll be nice. And for some reason, I had to be mean because all of the text options were absolutely hysterical, sarcastic.
Yeah.
Kind of like the first. He's like,
For those of you who aren't aware, it's one of those old school RPGs where you do play a character in a linear story, but you do have the the dialogue options, like in
Yeah.
Mass Effect, where it's all essentially the same thing but just a different tone.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the Reapers? But it was funny. Like there was the one where it's like he says, "Would you like to know about this that I'm researching?" And the one option is, "Yeah, sure." And the other option is, "I would like to know when you grew roots." And I'm like, I have to pick that one. I just have to. It's funny. And so
I
was
always
really-
chose the option that made me look like I was really desperately into Rosalind. Like the ones where you call her Honey Bunny.
Oh gosh.
She's like, Honey Bunny, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let's talk about that.
And then
Honey
Makes me
Bunny.
wish I played more of that game.
I don't. Fucking
It gets
know what's
really
happening.
hard towards the end.
Honey Bunny, what the fuck are you talking about? And then you look at the box, make sure it's still rated E.
Yeah, that game gets really hard towards the end, though. Like, really hard.
The first boss, the Rat King, it was hard. I was stuck on him for like a year.
I think I used Game Shark to get through the game. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah, that game is extremely tough for like an RPG aimed at kids. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like like a 6-year-old. I know all the RPGs. Like maybe he would have like very little. Like he would be only mildly.
Because while it is completely irreverent, it's
yeah.
also a very hardcore RPG.
Yeah, it's a very hardcore RPG, but it's aimed at kids. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was a kid and I enjoyed the hell out of it, but damn, that Rat King was tough. And then after that, it just got tougher and tougher. Great game though.
All right then.
And of course, the intro has bagpipes. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Fucking Japan is weird, man. And that's coming from a guy who watches anime.
I would
every day.
honestly, like, I think you would actually like this game, Sam. Like, no lie.
No kidding, yeah.
Probably. I do like weird shit.
Like, if you have a chance, you should find, like, a ROM of Okage Shadow King.
I will go look for that. I'll go find it.
I'll spell it out for you in the script, the Skype chat.
What? Oh god, my laptop's making sound. Oh god.
I believe it's your turn now, Sam.
Making sure my laptop doesn't make sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was gonna just say before I say the one main thing I played, I did touch upon RE6, and
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike, which is...
The usuals.
Yeah, Counter-Strike's like sucking my life away, slowly. Because it's getting really, really addicting. I'm starting to get good at it, it's the sad part. Like, I'm starting to, like, get MVP a few times, and I'm like, oh, if I just try a
Get
little
good,
harder.
noob.
If I just play a little
Get good.
more.
You got.
But the
Get
main-
good, noob.
The main thing
I
I
forgot.
played was fucking Diablo 3, and I played a lot of Diablo 3.
I have to get that.
No,
I
you
still have
shouldn't.
to get
It's the worst thing that's ever
It's
happened
bad?
to me. No, it's too
I already
good.
have Torchlight 2. That's enough for me.
It's
I have
just
Torchlight
like
2 and
it's
Path of Exile.
mind-numbing. Just like playing it, I'm just like, oh, I could. Like, I usually don't play. Talked about this with Chris when playing RE the other night. That usually I don't play games for that or a single game for that long anymore. Like I usually play for like 2 hours.
Have you
like,
played
yeah, that was
Torchlight
fun.
2 by any chance, Sam?
Yes.
How does that compare to Diablo 3?
Diablo 3 is infinitely more addicting, and I don't know why. But I don't know. I think it's because the way the skill progression works is it's not a tree so much. It's just like every time you level up, it's just like here's like one skill and you can choose between them. It's weird, but like God, first time I played that, I played it for like 10 hours straight, and I'm like, fuck, man, like God, this game.
Yeah, at least Diablo 3 can warrant that now that they fucking fixed it.
Yeah, it didn't have server problems every time. But it's just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like every time I play the game, I play for like 10 hours straight, and the only reason I ever stop playing it's not because I need to go to bed, it's because I usually get a massive headache from staring at my screen for so long. But, I don't know, like Chris, you played Diablo 3, right? You said you beat it because you had that weird experience with the loot and all that, but did you have that same problem where you just start playing it and it's just like so mind-numbing that you're just like, I'm watching videos on my other monitor, and I'm just like, I'll just click on the dudes and they die.
Yeah,
it's like, it's straight dopamine to the brain. It's just like, easy to just kill dozens of dudes.
You're just on this fucking treadmill of just killing dudes, which is kind of the reason they put it in the adventure mode of, like, you play through the story, you've seen everything there is to the story, but you want to go through these areas again, and so why even have fucking cutscenes? It's like, here you go through all the shit. There you go.
And if you buy it on PS4, you get an exclusive Last of Us themed dungeon.
Of course.
Forgot about that.
I did not know that was a thing.
With Last of Us themed drops.
Yeah, I think they like put like fucking clickers and shit in there. Like,
Yeah, they even put like Uncharted drops in the PS3 version, PS4 version as well. Like
Sure.
Sony exclusive themed drops. I'm not even joking. It's like a thing you can look at.
that's actually kind of funny.
I don't know. That game is just. It's. I like the mind numbing. That's the only way I can possibly describe that fucking game. It just.
It's a podcast
It's-
game.
Yeah.
It's just so rewarding in the worst way of just like I only died once ever. I bumped it up to hard because it was too easy, and I'm playing as a crusader, which I guess is part of the problem because she only has like healing shit. Like I'll just walk around and be like, I just killed like 50 guys. I'm like, oh, that's good. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it's
like there's no chance of death. You just click on stuff and watch health bars go down, and they always explode into fountains of blood, which at least for me is very rewarding.
yeah.
It's the worst. Don't play it because
Yeah,
just
it's
fuck.
like if you really want to play something for min-maxing a character, here you go.
Yep. Probably the only thing I could really rail against it is that probably because the way I'm playing it, which is making sure that every part of the map is uncovered on the map screen. I feel like I've played it for like 20 plus hours and I'm only at the very, very beginning of Act 3, and I'm like, I'm kind of starting to get fatigued by this game. So I don't really know how to feel about that. And I almost forgot, but the other thing I played was me and a friend and a couple of his roommates were all talking on Skype, and he bought a 4-pack of Mount Your Friends, so I played that for the first time.
Oh god.
God.
It was hilarious. Just all the innuendos, just like me and Taylor and Aaron and Marie, and every time it was like, Aaron, prepare to be mounted. It was just the worst. But that game is just dumb fun, especially now that you can import faces. So you can import like your own face.
I saw
on
the
there.
giant bomb quick look on it. That was
Right.
hilarious.
Yeah, we apparently already decided that it's a weekly thing to play 100% orange juice and mount your friends. It's just terrifying.
I have no idea.
Oh, just
You,
I know that
wanna
my
know-
friends require mounting.
yeah.
you want to know what's a truly terrifying game that I haven't played, but I watched? I have been watching Let's Play or Let's Plays of it and stuff like that.
Sure.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I have that download. I need to go play that.
I saw Jim Sterling play that game. It looked terrible.
It
whoop.
is terrifying.
I saw
I watched,
Markiplier play it, which just seemed
oh,
terrifying
God.
as well.
Yep.
I watched
I don't know if I
the,
could play that.
We
I-
should get
I
like
watched
we should get like a
the-
video thing together where we all record it. We all played it once, and I swapped it to
Y- Oh my god. Well, I remember I was watching the Play Pals, Rooster Teeth thing that Gavin and Michael do, and they were playing it, and just like that one jump scare, I threw my headphones off. I went, oh!
Yeah, the worst one I saw was it's at the end of the second Markiplier video where you have the one who's the fox, I think, and he just dead sprints for the door.
What's he say?
Yeah, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's just because all the others are like very slow and careful, and then you have one where you just hear, and then he just right there, he's like, ah! I'm like,
What's he
Jesus
say?
Christ!
What does the fox say?
I don't know, Brandon. He
It
probably
says,
says, "Fuck you, Brandon." So turn
Yeah,
your fucking testicles
well,
off.
he kills you with a hook.
Yeah, it's
But
it's one of those.
Like, God, that game just seems ingenious in its design.
Yeah, it
like,
really
I'm
is.
not
Like,
surprised it's become like a big hit all of a sudden. Because fuck that
Yeah,
game.
because I know there have been like a number of horror games that come out and just seem like YouTuber fuel of just like doesn't matter how shitty they are as long as people make videos of them.
It's a
it'll-
lot of first-person horror recently. Like Jim
Yeah.
Sterling made that comment. He's like, "Oh, it's another first-person horror game. I haven't seen one of those
Yeah,
recently."
Yeah, like YouTube reaction, like bait, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
just jump
Cutie
scares
bait?
everywhere.
Where like a game is just shit, but like as long as it can get jump scares out of people, like
I believe Total Biscuit calls them pewdie bait.
kind of. Yeah, I think that's also what like.
To be fair, Mark's like also really big in that area, so
Yeah,
because he also
But-
plays a whole bunch of stuff like that.
but Five Nights at Freddy's does not look like that. This actually is
Yeah.
something that's
It's
designed
pretty
really well.
legit as far as like game design
It's
goes.
very
Yeah.
well done.
Like I said,
the setup
that
is great.
And I guess
that one, like seeing like the video of like just the ones that move just as you pan cameras.
Yep.
Yeah, that's creepy.
They're stills,
but then
yeah.
actually seeing one run, that scared the shit out of me. That's like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
So I guess for those who haven't seen it, I would totally say check out like YouTuber of your choice. I'm not going to recommend one or the other. But just a very basic idea is that you're playing as a security guard in a sort of Funland, like, animatronics place called Freddy's.
Kind of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. And the whole idea is that the guy that calls you on the phone, he's like, oh, these things come alive at night. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine.
And they try to kill you.
And the idea is that you're sitting in a control room with 2 doors and 100% power. The power drains, so you can't leave the doors closed all the time. So you have to keep checking cameras, which takes a lot less power, and you just have to survive 6 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. While power keeps draining, and it drains more if you close doors. If you close both, it drains even more power. And if you get to 0, you're fucked.
If you get to 0, then Freddy is in the hallway, and his eyes and his teeth are glowing, and you hear a chime, and as soon as that's over, he jumps out and gets you. It's
Although the timer can't pass while he's doing that, which is the best part. When it's like, there's
What's up?
Like, even during the part where it looks like it's already a game over, where the music comes in, you can still, like, pass that level. Like, it's been shown in videos.
Wow.
Which is even more terrifying. Like, it can happen a second before he jumps at you. You can
I also
totally
think
win.
it's kind of... It's weird that it takes power to keep the doors shut. You're just the way around, but yeah,
I don't
that
know.
makes sense for the gameplay.
Yeah, just as far as game design, it's one of those cases where just... It's like, horror's become pretty stagnant, I would say, over the past while. So just to see something, like, new and original...
I don't know. They have really new and original horror games like Dead Space 3.
Yeah.
That game is truly
between,
fucking
like,
scary.
fucking Parkway Drive and Blinding Darkness and... I can't even remember the third one that Patrick from Beyond Bond played. And they're all like, I have a camera, or I'm walking around in first person, and I gotta go unlock doors. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I love
like
horror games, but they're all the
Outlast.
same. Yeah, just Outlast and Slender is all they are. They're all Outlast and Slender.
Yeah. But it's this one's very
Even the
creative
new fucking
in how
Silent
it's
Hill
set
game
up.
is a first-person horror game.
It's first person. I didn't know that. Silent
At
Hill.
least the part they showed.
Oh.
The PT demo was, so I don't know if that'll represent the final game.
But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. A TV trope says it takes place at a Suck E. Cheese, which is just any Chuck E. Cheese, like
Rip-off?
Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, rip-off. Yeah, it's called a Suck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's terrifying because you have a phone call in the first night. And it's like, I've been doing this for a while. I'm actually finishing out my last night, and yeah, sometimes they'll walk around at night. This is no problem. If they find you, they might think that you're a metal endoskeleton out of its suit, and they'll try and forcefully put you into a suit. Now, this is no problem except for all the rods and stuff. So, of course, the only thing that'll see the light of day the next day will be, your eyeballs coming out of the thing and
try
your
to stuff
teeth
you in
inside
a
the
suit.
mask.
And, not
like,
spoiling all the messages, because, like, the fourth night is the best one, probably.
Oh my
but,
god.
there is one other weird thing he says where he's like, where he tries to say, he's like, what if you put, like, try to put a suit on or something? And he's like, but maybe that you think it's an exterior, and they're going to try to shove metal rods down your throat. And he's like, that might also be a bad idea. Like, oddly, the writing and voice acting was really good for what appears to be a no-budget game.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually really well delivered.
It's so creepy though, because they all have different ways of moving. So you have the duck, which is called Chica, and then you have the bunny, which is called Bonnie. And they're the ones. Bonnie's always on the left side, and Chica comes on the right side. And you can hear them walking around and stuff. They're the ones who are very still when they move.
Yeah, the footsteps are so fucking creepy. Like,
yeah.
oh my god.
And then Foxy is the Cape Fear, or the Pirate Cove fox. That one you have to keep on clicking over to make sure he's not moving, because when the camera is off of him, that's when he will move. So you'll click over and you'll just see curtains, you'll click away, people watching the other ones, and then you click back and it's his face like peeking through the curtain. And then you click away, and then you click back, and he's coming out of the curtain, and then you click away, and then you click back, and he's gone, and you're like, uh-oh. And then you click next to your door, and you see him running down the hallway towards the camera.
Yep.
And then you have to stop, and you have to lock the door, and you hear him banging on the door. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I should
God,
The fox scared the shit out of me.
I'm looking behind me right now, because I'm so freaked out. Oh my god, this game is so well done. I have to watch the Mad Max Fury Road trailer to kind of calm down. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like, that's really, I don't even remember how we got on this topic, but check out Five Nights at Freddy's. I'll leave a link in the description.
Take a watch. Yeah, I'm typically really good with horror games. Like I was playing Slender. I'm like, no, this game is so well done. It is so fucking creepy. Oh my god, when I think it's either Bonnie or Freddy. I can't really tell. You cut to one camera and he's just staring right into the camera, and his eyes are all black.
There's also one of them that stands sideways sometimes, which is really weird. Like they're like sideways on the screen. And I'm like, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, but no, it was and it starts it starts going, it's me, and like it's me pops up on the screen. I'm like, what the fuck, why?
Oh man.
I think Chica's the creepiest one. Chica just has her mouth open. You see 3 sets of teeth, like 2 sets of teeth.
Yeah,
because
you seem to have very vivid memories of this horror game. Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, there's like a dead person crammed inside her. I'm like, oh god. Oh, the game over is creepy too. The game over screen.
Yep.
Where it cuts to like the maintenance room, and there's a suit, and it's got instead of like the big eyes that fill the holes, there's like small little human eyes popping through.
Yep.
And you see like the human set of teeth in the back. It's such a fucking creepy goddamn game.
Go support that guy. You could buy the full version of the game too, I believe.
So, yeah, you can. I can't wait for it to come on Steam. That's why I'm gonna get it.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know if it's being Steam greenlit. It is?
Yeah, it's being greenlit.
Sweet. I'm gonna go put yes on that because I would like to buy that on Steam.
I would totally love to buy it on Steam. Oh my god, the game is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it's so fucking creepy.
I don't like it, but I like it.
We should start playing horror games together. That'd be great.
Shit.
Oh my
Just
god.
not Resident Evil 6, because
No.
Resident Evil 6 is a horror game for a different reason.
it's a fucking beat 'em up.
Yep. Other than that, I didn't really play anything. I just played a lot of Counter-Strike. So, I guess that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys
We dragged this out long enough.
You guys took forever, and I took like 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations to me.
Well, I mean, like I said, we'd already kind of mentioned how you and I were both playing Resident Evil 6.
Yep.
And
That was basically the highlight.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah, so, trying to remember all the outro stuff we gotta do. If you'd like to send a question to us, which I always forget to do that after we actually do the questions, link the email will be in description, but it's thetexturepop@gmail.com. Questions, comments, don't send concerns, all that jazz. And thanks for being with me, guys, and making this podcast super fucking long.
Yep.
Yep.
Happy to help.
Dead Space 3, Game of the Year.
Fuck you.